What's going on, Colts Nation? Welcome back to another Bring the Juice Colts podcast live stream. Sorry to keep you guys waiting. We just had some quick things pop up and waiting for everybody else to hop in here. So apologize for the little bit of a delay there. But we're here. We're here talking Colts football and free agency and all that jazz. I'm here with two of my best buddies, Matt from Inside of the Horseshoe Podcast and JDW from JDW Sports Talk Show. Matt, how you doing, man?
Doing pretty good. Just trying not to stress out, both with the off season and also bets I have currently going right now. Vacuum is running upstairs at the moment, and I'm eating a pizza and drinking some pop.
Hey, man, that's what I was doing a little bit ago, so I feel you on that. Hey, JDW, your mic is muted, but how you doing, my guy?
I'm doing good, man. I'm doing good. I'm so happy to be back on here talking to you guys. It's been way too long. Happy to be back on here. And this free agency period so far, I've kind of felt like one of those shy kids that go to a party. You go to the party and you watch all the other kids have all the fun, and you're just sitting there and just wishing you were one of them having some fun.
Yeah, tell me about it, man. Listen, so breaking news just right before we got into the stream. It's just being reported that the Rams have traded Robert Woods to the Tennessee Titans. It's actually, it only cost them a 6th round pick. So Robert Woods, who was the number 2 wide receiver for the Rams before he went down with an injury, is now being traded to our division rival for a 6th round pick. Guys, can you believe that?
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah, you can believe it. Yeah, of course we can believe it. With the way that this offseason has started, we can absolutely believe that would happen to Indianapolis. Matt, I mean, bro, can you come over here in like 2.5 hours from here and hit me upside the head with a hammer or something? Like I want something to happen to me.
Will I be charged with anything?
No, I'll leave a note that says you're good.
Good question.
Okay.
Oh man, wow.
But yeah, I'm not surprised either. 6th round pick. I mean, look, Ballard probably said 7th at most.
Yeah, I was surprised that the Colts even made a trade for Unique Ngakoue.
Yeah, I was surprised by that too.
Yeah, they actually did something. Interesting.
Yeah, I shouldn't be surprised though, because remember in his presser, Chris Ballard seemed to be really high on the receiving group that they had. So I know he said they need to add more speed. Maybe that's what he was planning on doing in the draft, but he did say he liked all the guys we had. So honestly, I shouldn't be surprised that he's not going after some of the bigger receivers. So
yeah, not surprised either. I just wish, he wouldn't be scared to get better, even if it wasn't a receiver. He's always scared to go out and maybe pay a little bit more extra money for a big position of need and really have that player make an impact, help us close out a game like an edge rusher. We did get Unique, but he's just scared to go out there and spend or trade. Look at all the other teams around us in the AFC. Look at how much they gained. What do we gain? We lost more than we gained.
So far, we have lost just as much as we have gained. I mean, obviously, the real big move you've made so far has been getting Yannick Ngakoue, which was a good move by Ballard. I liked the move. But at the same time, you fixed one need that you had, but now you opened up another need at another position in doing so. And on top of it, you have yet to address any other need other than simply just adding cornerback depth and defensive end depth. That is all you have done in terms of re-signing Tyquan Lewis, re-signing Zaire Franklin, and you brought in Brandon Faison from the Raiders, right? So
didn't even know who that is when we signed him.
Yeah.
Who did?
And listen, I'm gonna start this off, folks, by saying that I wasn't planning on getting drunk, but I might get drunk off some of this tonight. I'm going to start off the stream the right way. The pizza stream.
The pizza stream.
Hey, listen, I already had pizza. I don't have any
I
more
still have my
left,
pizza.
so I can't. Yeah, so Matt can have pizza if he wants to.
Yes.
Well, that counts.
I have 2 slices. Well, I have a little bit of this one stuffed crust, but I got 2 slices after that
Like
left.
stuffed crust.
Oh yeah, dip it in
I-
marinara.
Yeah, what's wrong with stuffed crust? Stuffed crust is awesome.
It's great.
I don't know what it is, but it's just like getting stuffed crust with cheese. Just it doesn't appeal to me.
Oh.
It's just one of those things that like I like cheese, but only when it's like fried on the pizza, not like inside the crust. You know what I mean?
It's all you.
Hey,
All your
more
opinion.
more
but
cheese.
Yeah.
Okay, quick question. Pineapple belong on pizza. Matt,
If
yes or
you
no?
wa-
Just yes or no?
no.
I like
Be
pineapple.
wise. Be
Oh,
wise with what you
God,
say,
okay, I'm
JD.
gonna kick you out of the stream now. All right, I'm just kidding. I'm kidding.
Pineapple and ham.
Oh my God. I can understand ham, but like, look, okay, so we're nope, Matt just cut out there for a second. He's here, I think. He's just he's still got his audio, but we'll see in a second. But yeah, so I'll tell you what, guys. So the big news that was going on over the last 2 days has been first off the Devontae Adams trade, right? So that was the big one. I believe it was Thursday that was the big news. I mean, congrats to freaking Devontae Adams, bro. He hit the freaking jackpot with that trade, man. He goes to the team that he's always wanted to go to. He went and he's going to get to play with his former buddy Derek Carr. And now he's going to be in a system where he's not the only guy that the quarterback's going to have to target now to make this offense work. Right now, I mean, the Raiders, they got significantly better this offseason with the moves they made.
The whole AFC West did, man. Whole AFC West. Denver with Russell Wilson, and then
They went
the
all
Chargers
chips in.
trading for all these guys. Yeah, everyone's putting all their chips in. Everyone's ready to go. You know, the Broncos were that team for quite some time. Everyone talked about the quarterback. You know, their quarterback away. Colts were in that conversation for a while now, but I think we're a little more than a quarterback away now.
Oh yeah,
we're definitely more than just a quarterback away. I mean, if you put any of these really good quarterbacks on this Colts roster, then you're right in the mix with everyone else. But at the same time, you know, there's still a left tackle issue to deal with. Weapons, you need you still need to see if you can get pass rush going, and you still need a corner at this point, a true number one corner. I mean, yeah, it's was something crazy. I mean, we're all in agreement here, right? That the Raiders won that trade, right?
Oh yeah, yeah, absolutely, yeah.
The Rocky Sin trade.
No, the Devontae Adams.
Oh yeah.
Okay. It's just giving up what they gave up, a first rounder and a second rounder. Is that all they gave up?
That's it.
For one of the best, if not the best.
It's probably the best. Yeah, he's probably the best. So you know, it's.
They probably would have gave up Hunter Renfrow for him, if we're gonna be honest.
Yeah, absolutely. You give up Hunter Renfrow. I'm not saying that's a great thing, but yeah, if you're gonna get the best wide receiver in the game, and then Friday, which left me utterly depressed, Deshaun Watson going to Cleveland. Now, for any of the just social justice warriors out there, I'm not condoning anything that's going on. I'm simply talking about the fact that he is now a Cleveland Brown and is on that team and is looking to play until either the league suspends him or cancel culture runs him the hell out of town. I don't know. But either way, I'm wondering. I said it the other day. The AFC now has 8 of the 11 best quarterbacks in the NFL all in that conference. I mean, and the Colts have to play every single one of the AFC West teams. Do we even stand a chance against any of those teams, guys?
Maybe we knock one off.
I'd say maybe the Broncos. I'd say maybe the
Broncos with Russ, with the scrambling quarterback that we've notoriously struggled against.
It's just I don't see us beating KC. I just don't see
Any
it.
smart quarterback up there,
I would say I think we can beat the Chargers. I,
You really
I,
think so?
there's always a team that you
That
don't expect
upsets
the
the
Colts to
Chargers?
be
Yeah.
that we end up beating. Buffalo, a lot of people last year were like, oh, no, you're not beating Buffalo. Ended up beating them. I think one of the AFC teams that nobody thinks we have a chance to beat, I think we're going to beat. I think it's going to be the Chargers. Heard it
Okay,
here first.
so this is kind of something that I feel is important that we talk about. Just saying that we as fans are impatient. Okay. Let me just say this, okay? I have been all for the argument of being patient when it matters, right? But the problem you have is the problem with the being patient movement is the fact that you are watching all of these other teams get the top level players. Okay. You can't win a championship with a B level roster against rosters that have 7 or 8 A+ level guys on it. And that's what 70% of the AFC has right now. 75% of the AFC teams have a franchise quarterback. We do not. 70% of the teams have a left tackle. We do not. 90% of the AFC has real weapons to throw the football to. The Colts do not. The 90% of the other teams have a pass rush. The Colts, we don't know that yet. The other teams, they have a number one corner. The Colts, we don't really have that yet, other than a slot corner and Kenny Moore, which I absolutely love. I just don't see him being our number one outside corner in the time being. So I mean, do you guys, I'll start with Matt on this and then we'll go to JDW. What do you make of the being patient argument? Like, what do you say to those people that are saying Colts fans like us who are sick and tired of seeing Ballard wait and staying away from spending money and should just accept that we need to wait and let Ballard do his thing? What do you make of that argument?
So, like, I can understand it for sure. The got to be patient argument for sure. Because it's a tough situation. Your owner forced you to get your quarterback out, which honestly I think Ballard wanted to remove Wentz anyway. But I think we can all agree Jim Irsay was going to force him out one way or another. So I understand it's a tough spot because of that. I'm not as upset that we're not spending big money on some receivers in the offseason and whatnot. Like, I'm not paying Christian Kirk $21 million. I'm just not doing that per year. I'm more upset that we're not going after some of the players that were traded for that went for cheap. Like
what we just saw
Amari
with Robert
Cooper,
Woods.
like Robert Woods, 6th round pick. I would have given up a 5th. I would have went for Amari Cooper. I understand Amari Cooper would have cost $20 million. And yeah, that's quite a bit of money.
Well, would you take Amari Cooper over Christian Kirk at the moment?
Yes, absolutely.
I mean, you'd say right there, he's easily amongst as elite as it gets when it comes to Christian Kirk's sake, and you're paying him $20 million, but you only give up a 5th. Like, come on.
Yeah, absolutely. I absolutely would have gave up Amari Cooper. I would have gave, what did they give Cleveland? 5th and 7th?
Yeah, it was I think it was a 6th, honestly.
Okay. So yeah, I would have done like a 4th.
They gave Cleveland a 6th to go along with it, and then they gave them their 6th and gave them a 5th for Amari.
I would have done a 5th or a 4th for Amari Cooper straight up. We had the money at the time. I would have done it. I think he would have been really good with Michael Pittman. That would took care of the receiver position. And you got to remember, we were close to making the playoffs. We need a quarterback that is, going to play consistently fine. It doesn't have to be great. Like, you would want a great quarterback, but with everybody available, just get somebody who's going to be consistently fine, and you can win the games that you lost last year with a quarterback that isn't going to screw it up. So you get a quarterback in there, someone that's good. We're good on, defensive line. Our linebackers are good. I think we need to add one more corner, and I think our safeties are good. Maybe get, a safety back there while Blackman's out. But pretty much I'm good with what we have on defense. Just add a corner, maybe a safety, add a little bit of depth. And then on the offensive side of things, draft a left tackle is what I'm always for. and then go after a receiver tight end in a offseason. That's what I wanted. I feel like if we can address those things, we're a playoff team. I know a lot of people are not happy with Ballard right now. Get a quarterback in there that doesn't have to be great, good. Address those needs. You don't have to get fantastic pieces. And I think we're fine. So I'm a little more patient, but I am a little aggravated with some of the things that are happening.
JDW?
So from both of your guys' perspectives, we know that we've been very patient. I've been too. You know, you want to be patient and you want to build a team the right way through the draft, you know, signing some free agency guys. And you can't be scared to go out and get some of those bigger guys that are really going to make a difference. You know, Ballard has spent a lot of time, you know, these last few years building this team the right way. And just going quarterback after quarterback is difficult, right? We know that. You know, since Andrew Luck, that made it so much more difficult. You go to Jacoby Brissett, didn't work out, whatever. Philip Rivers, he was old. You know, we know he wasn't the long-term guy. And then we have Carson Wentz. You know, when Carson Wentz came here, I never really expected Carson Wentz to really come in and be a long-term guy. Never really had the feeling that he was going to be here for 5 or 6, 7 years. So come back to the point with Chris Ballard. You know, he's just too scared to get better when he has a chance to. You know, when you could pay. I don't mind overpaying a little bit for a fantastic guy that's going to come in and make a big difference.
Right.
You know, sometimes you're going to have to be big in that market. Sometimes you're going to have to overpay a little bit for some of those.
Dog always gets views. Thanks.
There's always going to be a big market. But if you want him, you know, if you want that difference maker, you have to go get him. You can't just wait and hope that he's going to accept that bargain deal.
All right.
Chris Ballard, he's all about the bargain deals. He's all about the 1-year guys. But as we've noticed, the 1-year guys are awesome when they break out, when they have a great year. But in the end, the year after these 1-year deals, it's leaving us more holes on top of what we already have. And it's building up a little bit. So I just say, you know, yeah, it's much easier said than done, but we need to find our franchise guy. Absolutely need to. It's, you know, even the players are getting disgruntled from this. You know, you see Darius Leonard, he's not happy with it. Zach Pascal. Before you lose the whole locker room, you need to find someone who's going to be here 2 to 3 years at least.
You also got to remember this. We have, the 25th to 27th hardest schedule in the league next year?
Yep. And
we were literally in a position where we just need to win 1 game in the last 2 weeks. Players just got complacent. You know, Rockison has said it. Leonard has said it. Get a quarterback with better, get better quarterback play. We would have made the playoffs.
And that last week versus that Jaguars team, I have never seen this team give up the way they did. Never. I've never seen that from them before. Carson Wentz, never seen that. It's so weird to see him like that. You know, even before, you know, the Jaguars kicked extra point, Darius Hunter was already walking off the field. You don't see that from our guys like that.
Shout out to the 200 of you in here right now. Greatly appreciate it.
And yes, give me Matt Ryan. Like, I'll take Matt Ryan. I think Matt Ryan gets a
here's the thing. Here's my argument with that. Okay, so look, we have the most cap of any team in the league, right? And I think we've all kind of heard the joke. The cap is not real, right? The Saints went $100 million over the cap in 2020. $100 million over the cap, and we're still able to put a roster on the field that could win them football games. The Browns, who had, I think, the 4th or 5th most cap in the league this year, just went and signed Deshaun Watson to a 5-year deal worth $230 million, all guaranteed.
Insane.
$45 million a year. They don't have that money.
Yeah, I'm not doing it. I don't
have it. How the hell? Like, look, the Colts were never going to get Deshaun Watson. Okay, I know this. I'm not saying that the Colts could have went and got Deshaun Watson. I'm not saying that. But I'm saying for anyone that thinks that it is dumb to offer a quarterback $40 to $50 million nowadays, there's another team that's going to go do it. The Browns were willing to look past the the sexual assault allegations and still pay this guy who was a top 5 quarterback in the league when he last played and pay him $40 million a year to come and play for them because they know that guy gives them the best chance to win the chip right now and for the next 5 years while they have him. So why not us? Why not? Like, look, I don't want to lose the locker room over this. You're either going to lose the locker room being complacent and
Hold on, I'll be back.
Okay, sounds good. You're either going to lose the locker room being complacent, or you're going to potentially lose the locker room by trading away some of your key guys to make sure you get a quarterback that is worthy enough to let some of these free agents come in here. Okay? This is the NFL. This is business. This is how the NFL works nowadays. It is not enough to build through the draft. It is not enough to build through the draft every year and just skip out on free agency. You can't win with that mentality. The Colts have set themselves back even further now. And that's the problem with this approach of being patient and not taking chances, okay? Look, this may backfire on some teams in the next 5 years.
Yeah.
But at least they're trying. At least they're trying. Like, and then I hear the stupid argument of saying, oh, well, you don't want to hand these guys these wins, right? You know, you got to go out and fight. I don't care how good of a roster you have. This is the NFL. These are all professionals. I don't care if you have one guy at every position that is top 5 in the league. You still have to go out and play as a team. Football is the ultimate team game. That's how it's won. And the fact that anyone would make that argument, this roster, these guys don't deserve this. These players don't deserve this. To now have their entire fan base just giving up hope on them. Do you know how many people I have had contact me saying their season tickets are gone now because they don't want to even support this team anymore? And it sucks because these players that put their all into it, it seems like Darius Leonard and Kenny Moore are doing more for this recruiting pitch to help these players come to Indianapolis than what Chris Ballard is. And that is sad. It's really, really sad.
So I will say, no, I was not scared. My brother's dog got in my room again, so I had to give him back to my brother. And I got the door closed and locked up. So no, I wasn't scared. So yes, I think we need to address things. We're screwed up on some things. I'll tell you, I think in 3 weeks, not everybody that's getting upset, but most people are going to feel better once we get a quarterback in there. And like I said, like we went complacent. I'm not blaming that on Chris Ballard. I'm blaming that on Frank Reich. Frank Reich should have coached these guys to not just relax and be like, oh, we're fine. We're going to make the playoffs. No, that's on Frank Reich and on the players, that were complacent. So we had a playoff team last year for sure. I know, Jeff. I saw some other people mention it,
absolutely,
but
absolutely.
Yeah, it's on the players for being complacent. You got to get somebody in there who's not going to allow that to happen. And I'm not saying fire Frank Reich because I think Frank Reich is a good coach. I think you get him a better quarterback, we'll be fine. But yeah, just as long as we have better quarterback play, we're making the playoffs. If you want to win a Super Bowl, you got to add more dynamic players.
Me off about this whole situation is you see all these teams throwing out of their way to make sure that they get their quarterback, right? And the Colts aren't doing what is necessary to bring in a quarterback. We keep talking about it all the time. The quarterback is the most important position on the football field. And if you do not have one, you will always be at a disadvantage. Always. And I know that you have a lot of great players in this locker room that you do not want to give up. But I go back to my original point. The NFL is a business and you need to improve. And nobody is off limits when it comes to getting a guy that is going to give you a better chance to win on Sunday nights. And
we're going to have our quarterback on no later than Tuesday.
And that includes Quentin. That includes DeForest Buckner. I don't want to trade any of these guys. If honestly, the only person I would not trade is Darius Leonard. That's me personally. I just don't. You don't give up your best defensive player. I would give up anyone else besides Darius Leonard. It's just we have set ourselves back. It's just. We are not going to be relevant amongst these teams for the next 5 years until we find a guy that is actually going to get us trending in the right direction.
Look, we're going to get a quarterback one way or another. It's going to be either tomorrow or Monday, if I had to guess, because Matt Ryan's, his contract stuff, his bonuses, all that stuff is due on Tuesday. We're going to have somebody on Monday at the latest, whether it's Matt Ryan, Baker Mayfield, Jameis Winston, Jimmy Garoppolo,
and
whoever.
From what it sounds like from obviously Destin and Rashad from the Blue Stable, and I agree with them. I truly don't think that there has been any talks with Baker Mayfield. I truly don't believe that because I think that Ballard probably talked to him one time and they told him what the trade value is, and then they just said nope. So I believe that truly.
I don't think Baker's coming here, but
I don't really want Baker anyways. Am I the only one on that train? How do you guys feel about
I don't mind him, but my problem is I don't want to give up too much. If I'm giving up a fourth to go get him, then I'm not worried because it's a fourth rounder. I don't care. But at the end of the day, I don't want Baker being my franchise guy. I just don't want the Colts to get complacent.
Yeah. Right, because Baker Mayfield, if you go and watch some Baker Mayfield, he really reminds you of Wentz at times. He really does. He struggles in the layups. He's got a good arm. Mm-hmm. His arm is pretty good, but he struggles with accuracy at times. He's, even mentally using the press conferences, he's wild, man. I don't know if we really want a guy like Baker Mayfield.
Right. And honestly, I rather would have Matt Ryan or Jameis Winston than I would Baker Mayfield.
I would not mind Jameis Winston.
It sounds weird because I've heard a lot
on the train, JDW.
I've heard people saying that he's going back to the Saints, but he hasn't signed a deal yet.
I know.
Right.
Which is weird.
You think he would have by now.
Because I thought Schefter reported that. Didn't Schefter report that he was considering going back to the Saints?
Yeah, and I thought the Saints offered him a deal too.
Yeah, they did. It's just weird he hasn't signed it yet. So I don't know. I don't know what's going on.
I mean, I could see him wanting to go to the Colts, in all honesty, because you see, Baker Mayfield wants to go to the Colts. Apparently, Matt Ryan, if he gets traded, he would want to go to the Colts. All these quarterbacks want to go to this team. I mean, they see what we have. You get a good quarterback in there. Our offense was averaging, 24 points a game last year? Get good quarterback play in there.
Xander, thank you for the $5 super chat. Great.
We did that with no number one guy.
Yeah, true.
According to people.
Exactly.
So, you add in good quarterback play, I think we're fine. You got to get a receiver too, at least. But I think we'll be fine.
All aboard the train of saying we need to draft a quarterback in the 2023 draft. That needs to be number one priority.
Yeah.
So we need to trade all our assets to go get either Bryce Young or CJ Stroud. It needs to be one of those guys. I'm not going to be complacent unless the Colts do that. Honestly.
Right. And Hirsch, all the, there's quarterbacks that want to come here. It just doesn't happen like that. You got to negotiate with the other teams. You got to get a deal settled. It doesn't happen in a second. So, and then you also got to negotiate with agents for the quarterbacks that are free agents. So that's why I think tomorrow or Monday is probably when we're going to find out who our quarterback's going to be.
And so I want to go back to this comment here because I didn't get a chance to actually talk about it very much. And I'm sorry, Whistler, for not interacting with the chat, man. I'm sorry. There's a lot going on. Believe me, I'll try to get to the chat here shortly, but I mean, there's so many of you guys in here right now, and we're trying to get through all this emotion right now. So maybe when the emotion settles down, then everything will go in. But okay, so this does have me worried. And I'll start with JDW on this. Are you concerned about what this lack of off-season moves is doing with the team?
I think this team just feels like they just want to progress, man. They don't want to keep going to every year being the most underrated team every year. And, they want to progress. They want to be more than that sneaky team. They want to be that team. They don't want to continuously go into the year, go into mid-season, and basically have to play a playoff game every single week. And, they just want to go out there, play, and get up there with the best of the best. They're tired of the same thing every year. New quarterbacks, slow start, having your backs up against the wall the whole season. They just want to go at it, man. They're just tired of the same stuff every year.
Yeah. I don't think team morale is at risk quite yet. I think it depends what's going to happen with the quarterback, though. If you get a good quarterback in there, we're fine. But they seem like a family. Like, I don't think they're upset to the point to where they're fighting with each other. They all believe they have a chance to win. So it's not like, they hate each other. So I'm not worried yet.
Guy here real quick.
Oh, there he is.
Who's that?
Hello.
Random guy. Cody? He messaged me and wanted to be on the stream. So I said,
yeah. Never seen this guy before.
How's the vacation?
Random stranger. Good. I've just been getting away from this garbage of a off season with this garbage of a GM, but here we are, everybody.
Damn, okay.
Derek can tell you how I feel right now about this team and about this organization. It's gotten to the point, guys, where I'm like, do I even, and I have people call me a bandwagoner, but I'm like, do I even go to a game next year? Do I spend the money to go to a game if we're not going to do that ourselves, Probably a hot take. I don't know, but that's just
I'm cool, calm, and collective right now. I used to work at a nursing home, like with the people that were, at the end of their life, essentially. And that was nerve-wracking. If I can survive that, I can survive anything. I'm cool, calm, collective.
I'll be all right. It's just, this is my outlet sometimes to let my frustrations out. And there's a lot to be frustrated about. Look, I tell myself at the end of the day, it's sports. It's not going to destroy my life if things go wrong. But of course, I use the Max Kellerman argument from like a few years ago when the Giants drafted Daniel Jones. He said, look, when your team is trash, your life just seems to be about 5% worse every time that, but like when you do, and then Will Kane decides to go, it's weird because mine just seemed to be 5% better. Just seeing you get mad. So
if you want me mad about this team, go out there and get some crap quarterback. Go out there and get like Andy Dalton. Then I won't be happy. Give me good quarterback play. I'm fine.
Yeah. Well, so, I used to think of myself as an optimist, and then I saw how the Colts handled last offseason and this offseason, and now Derek and I are at the point where we haven't been this upset probably in an offseason or a couple off seasons.
I've never been this upset with Indianapolis. Even the year where they went 2-14, I knew it was going to be the demise of us because we didn't have a quarterback. But even then, I've never been this upset with this Colts team. I've not been that way.
Well, it's because you always had a plan, right? You always had an option. You always felt like you knew what was next with, whether it was Manning, then Luck, and then obviously when he retired, you're like, let's see what we have with Jacoby. Then it was Phil. Then it was, Wentz. And so it's just like we've always had a legitimate guy we've thought, and we've been able to get behind. And for the first time, we're just like, we don't right now. We don't have anybody that we truly feel like we can rely on. Now, again, we'll see. But just the longer these negotiations go out, I think the less impatient a lot of Colts fans get because it's like no team wants to come, especially receivers, to a team with no quarterback. I don't blame them. I wouldn't blame them at all.
Unless you pay them a lot of money.
Yeah, unless you go do the Jaguars.
Ballard also doesn't want to do that either. So he doesn't want to overpay for receivers, but at the same time won't go and get us a quarterback until all the top wide receivers are off the market.
Who do you want as our QB? I heard you guys talk about this earlier. What did you guys say? I'll give my answer here.
I think everyone was saying Matt Ryan kind of was the lead way right now.
Him or Jameis.
Him or Jameis,
We'll see what happens. I feel like Jameis is going to go back to the Saints, but we'll see. But I don't want to give up any draft capital, certainly. I think if you're making me choose between Ryan and Baker, I mean, Baker's
Ryan.
cheaper and you only have to deal with him for a year. So if
Right.
he somehow has a bounce back year, okay, right? Maybe he is your long-term solution. But if not, okay, you can go draft a quarterback next year. It all depends on the price, right? If you can get like a round 4, round 5 pick for Baker, I'd be okay with it because he's cheaper. And if he's only for a year, whatever, like, you know, but there is, I think with Ryan, obviously he's older, so you kind of know what you got in him. But with Baker, it's like, you know, somewhat, but it's also like there's a lot more potential because he's a lot younger, right? So
and you can always restructure. You can always restructure Matt Ryan's contract too.
That's
and
true.
I think he'd be more willing to do it.
Yeah, and then Baker just reminds me of Carson Wentz, man. You know, his accuracy
are practically the same, which is
so. You know, I wonder though if Wentz would have been able to take the criticism and all that stuff. I feel like he probably would still be the quarterback if he was able to. And maybe Baker can do that a little bit better. I don't know. Again, I haven't watched enough Baker stuff, but I know there's been a lot of controversy. So I'm like,
Baker is wild in his press conferences, man. He is so fed up with the media.
Right.
Oh, yeah. Well, I mean, and that was the reason Wentz went out of town, right? Because all the time the Colts tried to get him to, again, take the easy plays. And he just refused to change how he played. I know that it's a lot easier said than done sometimes, but but you have to make some kind of adjustment, and it just wasn't done.
Yeah.
And you can always draft a quarterback too, either this year or next year with Matt Ryan, have them sit behind him. You can develop them a little bit, let them learn from Matt Ryan, just how he approaches the locker room and the guys. And then once Matt Ryan's gone, you got your next man up.
Yeah. So here's
assuming he's good enough.
Yeah. Here's my thing. The reason I don't want to trade for Matt Ryan is, let's be honest, guys, like we're all fans, but we're not doing crap in the AFC for the next couple of years. So why not go younger and at least try to I think number one priority has to be, first off, figuring out pass rush, which hopefully Yannick helps with that and Quiddy takes the next step. But then just finding your quarterback, because you can't compete. Like, there's so many good quarterbacks in the AFC right now. It's almost like you can compete for that AFC South title, but gosh, it's so congested in the AFC.
I don't even know if we have a chance of doing that now. You know, because the Titans
I don't know.
are improving their roster. They're
improving is kind of
But who's the Tennessee Titans quarterback?
He was the number 2 wide receiver for the Rams before he went down with an ACL.
Who's throwing him the ball, though?
It doesn't matter. He's always been. Even when he was with Jared Goff, he was still putting up great numbers.
Jared Goff is better than Ryan Tannehill.
Wait, he said he was worse or better?
Better. Jared Goff. I'd take Jared Goff over Ryan Tannehill.
Way better than Tannehill.
I didn't say way better.
Better.
I didn't say way better.
Better.
I didn't say way better.
Look, that's questionable too.
Look,
questionable.
I've never seen Jared Goff throw 4 interceptions in a game in the playoffs.
At least throw the football. I don't know half the time what Goff.
At least you know you can get to a Super Bowl with Jared Goff. You got to build a team around him that's capable of doing it.
Team around him. But
you can't win a playoff game with Ryan Tannehill.
They already
maybe won.
They went to the AFC Championship game 2 years ago.
Because of Derrick Henry.
So
you can't rely once you take Derrick Henry out of the game, it's over. It's over.
That point, I'm saying
it's over.
You can go to the Super Bowl with Jared Goff. You have to have the roster there.
I'll take a quarterback over a receiver that transitioned into a quarterback any day of the week.
Oh, yeah, I would too, but that doesn't mean anything. Ryan Tannehill, that 2020 season was a more effective quarterback than Patrick Mahomes.
Because he wasn't the main focus.
It doesn't matter. He was still more effective.
Yes, it is. Yes, it does. Once you take out the main focus and you go to the problem, then you find out you're not anything.
Better receiving options than Patrick Mahomes did? Come on.
Does he?
I know he had A.J. Brown, but he's not
A.J. Brown.
And he's not Travis Kelce.
He had Chester Rogers.
Oh, it's broke us, guys. This offseason's officially broke us.
But no, I look.
Tearing us apart.
I don't even want to argue. Like, yeah, sure. Yes, you're just your guys' opinion, man. I'm just gonna chill.
The Titans also had a pretty weak schedule once Derrick Henry was out.
Doesn't matter. They still lost their focal point, and they still won.
Because they're playing weak competition.
Right, get off of it. Get off of it. Let's move on.
And when Derrick Henry was in, you do realize they were effectively better than with him out than when he was in, right?
Let's go talk about
because Derrick Henry is starting to fall apart. He's starting to fall off.
He's starting to fall off already.
He is. Look at the numbers.
Titans fans, you heard it. Go.
He went down a yard per carry.
Sub it to inside the
5.4 the 4 yards.
Takes
That's
because
he's
he
falling
just
off.
said your running back
All
is
right,
over.
I'm going to mute
He's
you
got
both.
2
if you don't
years.
Stop.
No,
He's got
don't
2
you
years.
dare. I'm charging
Watch
it.
this.
He's got 2 years. He's got 2 years and it's over.
I just muted Derek.
Hey, don't you? No, hey, there
It's
we go.
over.
He's muted. No.
No, get a good quarterback. We win the division.
Guys, look what Carson Wentz does to franchise.
If we had Aaron
Easy.
Rodgers,
Does the
we'd
fan
be
base.
fine.
If we had Aaron Rodgers, we'd be
would
Real
winning the
mature.
AFC.
Real mature.
No,
What do you mean, real mature? Don't you
give me
give
Jameis Winston, and we'll win the AFC South.
Dude, Carson
Derek,
Wentz
you
really
need to
knows
go
how
just
tear
Guarantee it.
Carson Wentz.
Take a couple
Matt,
trail
bro,
pills.
Guarantee
you
it.
are- you- bro,
Guarantee it.
Yeah, Darren.
Better
thank you
offense,
for
better
the
defense.
chat, but yeah, we saw. So JDW, what do you think of Jameis Winston?
So last year, when he was playing for the Saints before he
Uh.
got hurt, remember the Saints were 5-2. They were playing pretty damn good.
It
He
worked.
went down,
14 touchdowns, 3 picks.
and he was playing
And
pretty
he was
damn
actually
good.
running the ball too.
It
He actually
really looked like that he matured. He matured under Sean Payton, and as he's getting older, maybe he's gonna mature. And then you bring him, over Frank Reich, another great offensive guy. You might have something there.
Look what you have done to my chat, Matt. You are literally just getting everyone to say kick you
Oh,
out of the stream
boy.
right now. It's
think
sad.
I'm
that
totally
we-
just messing around, too.
Like, it's sad
All right.
because
So we win the division.
we have almost no chance of winning the division. But even if we win the division, that doesn't freaking matter. Whoever we play in the first round of the playoffs, we're probably going to get utterly smacked because the next 7 other best teams have way better rosters than we do. And they probably have a quarterback that's probably worth a damn more than ours.
I'll say this. If you don't draft a quarterback in the next 2 years, Chris Ballard, you have failed this organization. You have failed your team. I'll just say that.
He's almost there.
It's getting there. Yeah.
We're almost already there. Yeah.
I mean, it's great. It's absolutely insane to me to even say that because the dude is an incredible scout. Like, he has found some really dang good players in the mid to late rounds. He found some really good second round picks. But, I mean, the difference from a really good scout to a really good GM, it's a big deal,
Look, anybody who hasn't seen me on the streams, you guys got to know I like messing with Derek. So I'll just say some of the dumbest
They all do
things.
that because they know they can get a reaction out of me. It gets views. It's for your guys' viewing pleasure. All right.
So,
Yeah.
Derek, I have a question for you.
What?
How do you feel I don't even know how to say this. So how are you going to feel when CJ Stroud's another failure for Ohio State at quarterback in the NFL?
Okay. I'll answer that honestly. If CJ Stroud, now we can't say anything about Justin Fields yet because Justin Fields was dealt a really bad end of the stick when it came to the Bears. They had a coach that didn't want to put him in the right position to win. He wanted Andy Dalton in there. But anyway,
Michigan went further with no QB.
if CJ Stroud does not have any excuse after this year because whether he stays an extra year after that or not, he's still going to have multiple years in an Ohio State system that with a coach that does a really damn good job of getting quarterbacks ready for the NFL. Historically, his offenses are one of the best in the nation. Stroud should be ready to go. We will see this year how he does. I just think that if he does turn into being a bust, then yes, Ohio State becomes a quarterback dump factory where if you want to be amazing in college, go right ahead and be there. But if you want to play in the NFL, you don't go to Ohio State to play quarterback. You just don't.
Either way, I think we can all agree. Look, I think we can all agree that if you go to Ohio State, you have a 50% chance of being worse than any other quarterback when you enter the NFL. Like it goes up by 50%, your chances.
Oh my gosh.
Man, that Michigan quarterbacks,
What Michigan quarterback?
The neck is going to be taken over by Davis Mills eventually.
Oh yeah,
bro, that dude's neck is so long.
I swear, every month it grows another inch.
Davis Mills is better than.
Dude, I saw a picture of it today. It almost didn't even look human. It looked photoshopped. I'm not.
It's not. That's.
Dude, Davis Mills is gonna be good.
I can make us several jokes about that, but I'm not going to because of monetization.
It's a nice
All right.
dinosaur plays in the NFL.
You know, I just have to say something positive because this has been like a completely not positive stream. It was super freaking cool that Yannick Ngakoue like quote tweeted my tweet the other day. That was
pretty cool.
amazing.
Ooh.
I was like shocked.
Yeah, I know. Yannick got a hold of you already, man. And hey, I interacted with Antoine Bethé's tweet today. He showed a graphic of what Darius Leonard's stats look like compared to Ray Lewis and Brian Urlacher in their first 4 years. I just said I'm gonna use this post anytime I see Darius Leonard slander. I'm just gonna put this post there, right there, and then say that's my argument. And he commented on it saying you should do that. I was like,
Nice
okay,
job.
I will. So,
all those Cowboys fans saying Micah Parsons is way better than Darius Leonard.
That was
yeah, I
hilarious.
know. It's like they play the same position, but they have two completely different job responsibilities.
Right. Yeah.
One is to rush the quarterback. The other one is to actually play in coverage.
Yeah.
Right.
It gets me going because a lot of people say that freaking that
I
Darius
can
Leonard
go
doesn't make a
off
big
again,
impact.
guys, if you want me to do that. I can go off again. I still got more in me.
Look, I'll come up with something that will
I
make him upset.
So much
And then,
pent up energy. I got so much pent up energy in me, so much pent up frustration. I could go forever.
all right. Well, Derek, I got a question for you then. Speaking of that. So say we don't, sign a quarterback or trade for a quarterback. We enter the draft. We miss out on Ritter, Corral, Howell, all these top quarterbacks. We get the 5th round. How happy would you be if we draft Jack Cohn
In the 5th round.
in the 5th round?
Boy.
Again, your homer side is coming out of you.
It's not a homer side.
Cohn
He was
is
only here
not
for a
going
year.
to be
He was only there for a year.
in the NFL. I
Look,
don't
All right.
care.
He was
Here's
only
us
there
again.
for a season.
I'm just gonna
I
mute
watched.
this.
care.
He was tearing it up.
He was not. He
He
was
was
trash
dominating.
at Wisconsin.
He was great.
He was
Yeah,
trash
he wasn't great at
He
Wisconsin
was
because
above
Wisconsin is a
average
bad
at Notre Dame.
offensive,
Above
system for a
average.
quarterback.
Your above average quarterback does not.
No,
make
he's
me
more than above average.
He's going to be the next.
He's
great
going
thing
to be the next
in the
Tom
NFL.
Brady.
It's not going to happen.
This is first take, fellas. This is first take at this point.
Jack
Cohn.
Cohn, better off having me go out there. You know what? I would rather just throw Sam Ellinger out there. I'd
No,
rather
we
throw
wouldn't.
Ellinger out there.
Don't lie. You would want Jack Cohn.
No, I would not. No, I would not.
You would want him.
Dead ass would rather have Sam Ellinger go out there next year playing quarterback than Jack Cohen. I
Talking
don't
about
want
Sam.
No.
Talking about
Sam
Sam.
Ellinger. At least has been in the system for a year. At least he knows what the.
All right, go JDW.
Talking about Sam. What are the chances he's a starting quarterback?
Oh,
But Chris
goodness.
Ballard really doesn't even go out and do anything. What are the chances? You think
I'd
that
say
Sam was the
it's
guy?
like at a 15% chance right now.
Really?
Yeah, I don't think it's that high. I don't think it's that is.
I mean, I feel like if you do that, you're just going to you're already to the point where I feel like a lot of fans are on the edge. I feel like you'd lose a lot of fans for a year.
Well, I mean, look, if you're not going to do anything, then you might as well go with the guy you did draft and just say,
Right.
hey, we're going to draft your replacement next year. Just go out there and do the best that you can do. We're going to try to set you up for the best we can do.
Right.
Which they aren't even trying to do that. So I don't know.
They're not, well, I think Ballard's trying, but he's not trying very hard.
I don't know, bro. It just
Nope.
looks
That's why Ty's going. That's why
Do I
Ty's
really
going
look
somewhere
that
else.
close to Andrew Luck? That is the third
You
time
just need to grow out a beard.
I'm growing it. I'm trying.
Just grow it out a
your
little more
best
and I
luck
can
I'm
see
trying to
it.
be like Cody down here, all right?
do your best luck impression, all right?
Oh, man. No, I'm not going to do that.
Okay. We'll
Yeah,
get
so
to
that
it.
guy
All right.
that talks exactly like Andrew Luck. He does all these skits with him and everything. It's pretty cool.
That voice is so hard to do.
Oh, my God. My breadstick account is in here. God dang it.
He's seen his breast.
Oh, my God.
Just eat some breadsticks and everything will be okay.
The funny thing is, I was eating a breadstick earlier today, so
no. Oh, jeez.
I probably
Yeah.
do. Honestly, I don't smoke, but
Yeah.
Need to be
I
chill out.
probably do at this point.
Well, as he's
Yeah, man, I love my Coors Light. Okay, it's starting to not get cold anymore, so I need to finish this before it gets bad.
All right.
Are we actually going to talk some Colts football
We're
here
good.
now?
All right, I'm gonna go
One
and
more?
get another one, and I'll be back in 30 seconds. I'll just talk amongst yourselves.
Okay.
All right.
So now
let's
it's
see.
time to be serious
Cody,
and not
Yes.
mute him
try
before
to
he
kick
comes
Derek
back.
off.
Mute him.
Yes.
That's like literally all I'm doing. I'm just trying to
great.
tick him off. That's it.
It's great. I love it. All right, let's actually answer this question. We brought it up. All right, so we'll start with JDW on this one. What are your thoughts on this question? How would you
All right.
answer it?
You're GM for a day. What QB do you get and how? Money, trade, picks, trade players. How do you get it done? I mean, half the quarterbacks that were kind of on the market or ready to go, kind of already gone. You know, even though there are some guys out there, Gardner Minshew, Jimmy G, Matt Ryan, Baker. Are any of those guys really options that we want to go into saying, oh, these are the guys that are bringing us in to the next level? No, but I mean, do we want another bridge guy? No, but kind of forced to. So why not go and get the best option that you think will bring you to the next level for 1 year? Maybe draft a guy in this draft, let him sit behind him, and then just go with what you have there, because you're gonna have to have another bridge guy. You're gonna have to have another guy that's gonna have to get another guy ready, or even just go into another guy.
Right.
So
True.
money, honestly, give Jameis Winston a shot. Give him a shot. Give him a 2-year deal. You know, bring him in, and then maybe draft a guy next year. You know, because if you give him a 2-year deal and you draft a guy next year, you have him for next year. You get to let him. you get
Too fast, man.
goodness. Yes, you get to let that guy sit behind Jameis Winston, and you get to see what he's got behind him and throw him in some games. Maybe when you're ahead, because we're not going to compete this year. We need to really get into that, and I don't think we're really going far this year. Looking at the rest of the AFC, we don't have a quarterback. We just don't have much. We don't have a first round pick on top of it. I think we just got to prepare for the future. Because at the end of the day, we're not going all the way this year. Do we make the playoffs? Probably not. So we just need to. I can't believe I'm gonna say this. As we've been saying, we don't want to say that Colts are going to be this great team, but they're not going to. So we need to, just be that team for 1 year, I guess, and try and draft someone next year. Let him sit behind Jameis for a year and see what happens from there. Honestly.
There it is again. Like what? And apparently JDW looked like Sam Ellinger.
I kind of see it.
I see it. I see it a little
I
bit.
kind of see it. No,
I'm big Q, so I don't know.
Yeah, apparently Cody's big Q. I don't.
So who's Matt then?
He looks no. Cody looks almost exactly like Andy Dalton.
Right.
Like
I
no
disagree.
joke.
So
You have
my
the same
cousin-
hair color too, so it works out in your favor there.
I say my cousin looks
Okay,
like
Andrew.
exactly like Andy Dalton. Like it's not even close. Like it's crazy. No, I would. Are you?
No, I am not.
that stupid wall painting behind you is probably.
Hey, it's the beach, okay? I'm at the beach.
Yeah. You ain't on the beach. I don't see no.
You're in a room.
Right there. There's the beach. See it?
It's really close. No, what I would do, and I've said this pretty much for a while. I would take Matt Ryan, as long as he's willing to restructure his deal, which I believe we would only pay 23 this year and 27 next year is what I thought I saw. If not, I'm sure he would be willing to restructure. He's at that point of his career now.
It just moves the money to somewhere else, though, right?
Right, but he seems like the guy who's like, okay, I want to win now. I'll restructure my deal. I'll take less money. I already made a ton of money. Get some pieces for me this year, next year. Let's go.
Right.
So I would trade for him. I would also draft a rookie either this year or next year. Have them sit behind Matt Ryan. Let them learn from Matt Ryan for, a year or two. Learn how Matt Ryan operates. Let him, learn how he, interacts with other players. Learn his leadership, and then develop your skills while waiting. And then when Matt Ryan's done, retire, released, whatever, then you can bring that rookie in.
Yes, yeah, I see where you're going there. If you have Matt Ryan, you know who you have. You know who you have for the next 2 or 3 years. Jameis Winston, kind of a wild card. Don't really know what you have. Kind of the same thing with Baker Mayfield. Both of them have pretty high upside, but there's that question mark there. Matt Ryan's gonna have that question mark, but we know more. We know much more.
Mm.
So
I guess
you get that there.
Yeah. Also, I'm thinking like if you were to trade for Ryan, first off, what's he going to cost? I think if he's going to cost a lot, no. But if you were able to, let's say if you're able to get him right, I think it could go really well in terms of like what he could teach your rookie quarterback, as opposed to like a Baker or a Jameis or whatever. Maybe Jameis would be able to because obviously he was with Drew Brees, but I get what you mean there. Like just from a veteran to a rookie, like that could be huge for that person's development. So
right. So then you look at some of the things that teams have done. They've drafted a guy to sit behind someone, and while they're sitting, they build, and that could be a solid option for the Colts. Even though they don't have a crazy ton of needs, they still definitely have some needs that really need to be addressed. So let them sit for a year, build, put them into a good situation. Not don't throw them into the fire. I don't like when young quarterbacks are thrown into the fire like that. So yeah,
and also like I'm more thinking of draft a guy like Desmond Ridder because he has everything you want athletically.
Right.
He can make a lot of really good throws. He's just a little inconsistent at times. That's why I'm like you draft him. You have Matt Ryan. Let him touch up those things for a year or two.
Yeah.
And then you can go from there.
Yes, I like Sam Howell too, but yeah, Ridder has the upside. If you're going to get a vet, let Ridder sit. He has more upside, so get him over Howell. Unless you really want that guy this year, go draft Sam this year. But we're not going this year, no matter what. I don't.
Yeah,
think so.
That's my whole thinking too. It's like Matt Ryan may not be like so much better than some of the other options, but
at least we know.
Like he's better, I would say, than most of the guys available. I would argue he's probably the best available quarterback if the Falcons are willing to move on from him, which I think they might. And I'll explain why in a sec. But, get somebody in there that can, teach the next man up, and you're going to get good quarterback play from Matt Ryan.
Yeah.
The reason why I think the Falcons might trade him is because they have pick number 8 in the draft. I could see them being like, you know what? Tom Brady's back. Let's just draft Malik Willis and we'll trade Matt Ryan for like a round 3 pick or whatever.
Well, and Matt Ryan doesn't want to play there anymore from what I've heard. Because, you tried to get rid of him. That's common knowledge. You wanted to get Deshaun. You purposefully made it to where it was easier to try to do that. So, obviously, they don't want to move forward with you anymore. So,
look at how Baker
Ryan, who's given a lot for that franchise, is now saying, okay, I'm going to go somewhere to finish out my career somewhere where I'm actually wanted.
Right. So that's why don't close the door on Matt Ryan yet. I know a lot of people aren't, but
the Blue Stable guys have been saying that that's really the only person that the Colts have really had a good, keen eye on this whole time. He's been the only one. It's been the only one. Hasn't been anyone else.
Like I said, I honestly think this team needs good quarterback play and then get another receiver that can be a number 2. Do that. I think we're all right. I don't think we're winning the Super Bowl with any of these quarterbacks that are available. No, I'm thinking about the future.
No, especially with how this conference is going right now.
Yeah. Right. Now, I wouldn't be upset if we got Jameis. I want Jameis too. Yeah. I'm on the Jameis train.
He's not going to cost you a draft pick, which is huge.
And that's true
you
too.
You still have all that ammunition to go up and trade for a guy either this year or next year, depending on what you want to do there. But it was something that's interesting that I texted you about, Derek. We've been texting back and forth a lot. You've seen a lot of my thoughts, whether they're good or bad thoughts.
Right.
But I basically said at this point, you have to find a franchise quarterback. I don't care what it takes. I don't care who you have to trade. That is so much more important. I'm talking anybody. And that's crazy for some people because we have some really good players on our team. But if you have a franchise quarterback, you can still win. And that would suck to have to lose one of our best players. But at the expense of a franchise quarterback, I'd rather do that than being where we're at right now, a quarterback.
Yeah, and then that's another amazing point. When you have that franchise guy, you have that much more room for error. You have that much more room to have 2 or 3 positions not great. Look at Andrew Luck when we had him. Defense sucked. Offensive line sucked. When you have a franchise guy, you could cover all that stuff up somewhat, depending on on how bad it is, where it is. But But if you have that guy, he makes it a heck of a lot easier because you know if you if you have a guy that you need to build around, it needs to be damn near perfect.
And Shill Skills, thank you for the $2. The O-line at this point, I mean, it's good up until the left tackle position, so the Colts have to figure that out. But there's not much more to say about it.
I have a hot take though.
But yeah,
go for it.
I love this offensive line, but they're really inconsistent in the pass game. Ryan Kelly's inconsistent. Braden Smith is even inconsistent. Sometimes, but Smith is a lot better. The left tackle, Eric Fisher, he was a really good pass, run blocker, pass blocker, not the greatest. Outside of Big Q, this offensive line, they're not amazing pass blockers. They're really not.
Well, they were up until this year. So, but I think Phillip Rivers being able to get the ball out of his hands a lot quicker also had a lot to do with that because Phillip Rivers never held on to the ball that much.
Yeah. He knew where he was going. He was smart. He knew where to go.
Yeah. So do you think it could be a realistic thing where this team kind of realizes what we're realizing, okay, you may be able to compete, but you're not going to win a Super Bowl.
No.
Would it make sense to focus in then on the draft and you trade one of these big offensive line, probably not Big Q, but basically anybody else?
Kelly.
Probably Kelly would be the one naturally that we'd all say. Does it make sense to trade him and maybe get I don't know if you get a first, but a higher round pick this year?
Right.
Ooh, and then that brings us to another good point. With Glow going to the Giants, do we re-sign Reed? Do we dig into the draft? Do we sign someone else?
You absolutely need to re-sign Reed.
Yeah.
You absolutely need to re-sign him.
Yeah. So
because there's so many guards out. I mean, I know there's so many guards out there, so the market is huge. There's not that's going to downgrade the value of the market for guys like Chris Reed, so you'd be able to get him for a lot cheaper. I mean, Cody, honestly, I said it earlier. I didn't know if you heard it or not. I said the only person that I would not trade on this entire team is Darius Leonard. It's the only one. It's
because
the only person
Darius
I would not trade.
Darius Leonard is really the only guy that is really keeping this team together up here big time. If there's no Darius Leonard, this team may not have that fire. Even though there's not much there right now, he still brings some to the table, and that really keeps them going a little bit at least.
Anybody want to answer this? Cody, it is kind of added at you, so.
Bro, I don't even want, he hasn't played, actual football in years.
Right.
This is beyond, and it's also, it's just unnecessary, media attention for your team right now.
Right.
I'm not going to comment on anything political or whatever, but, I don't know. Why would you add more drama?
Yeah. I bring him in for, a tryout or whatever, but there's just going to be a lot of.
Did do that in 2019, and
did we bring him in?
I think the Colts were in attendance at his tryout, but he said no to every team that wanted to potentially sign him. So.
I didn't know
but see, my thing with Cap, it's never been football. It's always things outside that he lets things kind of creep in.
Right.
Not taking no stance, but football was never really a question. We all knew he could play. It's just it's a distraction, and then him not playing for so long.
Yeah, and he did struggle his last year too.
Yeah.
So I don't know. It's been a while. I wouldn't be against trying him out, but I wouldn't go for him per se.
All right. So then, we just went over some of these QBs. I don't know, Derek. Did you have something to say?
Yeah, just saying, Derek Pletcher, thank you for the $5 super chat. Cody, we'll start with you on this one. How do you feel about Gus Bradley and the defensive staff that he brought in?
Yeah, it sucks because I really like the defensive staff that he brought in. It just is a bummer that we're not giving him more options, that we're not getting him more corners, at this point. I'm very glad we got Yannick. So I do think if we see anything that improves, it will definitely be that pass rush this year.
Yeah.
I think the thing I love about Yannick is you're probably going to sign him to a long-term deal, right? So at least you got one stud pass rusher locked down, hopefully for the next 4 to 5 years. So personally, I love that move a lot.
And so are we going to get Casey Hayward or not? You think that's a big –
He already
signed.
With Tampa Bay at this
point. Oh, geez.
Yeah.
Was it Tampa? I thought it was Atlanta.
Oh, it might have been Atlanta.
It was Atlanta.
You're right. But yeah, he was gone, and everyone's like,
Oh.
"Oh, we thought that was the Raiders' corner that we were going to be getting, not what Brandon Face on." So that was kind of weird. But
Wait, and then someone just said Gilmore. Did Gilmore sign anywhere?
no,
No.
he's
Not
a
yet.
free agent still.
I take him.
No,
I made a video on this like 4 days ago.
Mhm.
He is the only free agent corner that is left that could be our number one for at least this year. He's the only one. So Ballard,
Chris Ballard.
do your freaking thing,
Make
man.
it happen.
Yeah.
He's
Make
the
it happen.
only one. You're going to go into this next season without a true number one outside corner.
Wait,
I don't know.
is
Maybe,
TJ Carey even signed?
Isaiah Rodgers could develop into that, but right now he's not a number
But
one.
right now, he's not there yet. He could be,
Yeah. So I like him.
but right, yeah.
We've seen plenty of times where he got caught up. He just struggled, but he's not there yet. He was a 6th-round pick. It's going to take time, but it's just tough.
And back to the donation question. I like Gus Bradley. I think that he's done a really good job everywhere that he's gone. I like some of the position coaches that we brought in, some former players that understand the game. And I think that it would be phenomenal to have those guys. And Benjamin, again, I don't care what anybody says about who these guys are picking. Okay, Deshaun Watson told the Browns F you and then just said, "Nah, I'll sign with you guys anyway" a day later. So I don't want to hear that.
Derek, I got something for you. That going back to the Robert Woods argument, this is why I think the Colts are smart to not go for him.
Okay.
So he 30 years old, coming off a torn ACL.
Mhm.
He was also making $16 million a year.
Okay.
So for those 3 reasons, I'm glad we didn't trade for him. I don't care if you gave away a late round pick. That's darn expensive for a guy that has that injury history. Has a little bit of. I'm glad we stayed away from that situation. I'll just say that. That's a lot of money.
I would just say this: if the Browns, who just got Amari Cooper, who is 3 years younger, not coming off an injury, and yet somehow, some way, were able to fix his contract to make it go down lower, so that way they could afford to get Deshaun Watson, then I think that there is an easy possibility that you can take that contract and you can knock that down a few million. It's absolutely positively true that you could have done that. I know he's older. I know he's hurt, but you make those things work. You make those things work. That's how this business goes. Every other team is able to do it.
Right.
And Ballard does a pretty damn good job of fixing contracts. It would have been better.
All right. So here's my rebuttal to that. Here's my rebuttal to that. They gave away a 6th-round pick. That tells you there were 31 other teams that weren't willing to give up more than a 6th-round pick. So what does that tell you about how
those other
people
31 teams are dumbasses? Like
that's your opinion.
Literally been the second best receiver on a amazing Rams offense over the last 6 years.
Okay.
I mean, it's really not been and at right now, he is clearly the best number 2 guy. He would have been the best number 2 for us at any given point. Michael Pittman, he's not better than at the moment, maybe not, but he would clearly be the number 2. Easy, outright. It wouldn't even be a discussion. So that's what I'm saying.
Yeah. I don't know.
All right, so TY.
Yeah, I'm open to bring him back. It can't be for a big contract or anything, but a few million, yeah. I mean, it would be a 1-year deal.
But
It's not going
I
to
don't-
affect us next year.
But I honestly don't know, if he wants to come back here. Honestly, like he does, but with the situation, I kind of want to go and see him win something. So I want him to, and win a ring. Honestly,
Let him finish his career here. Let him get
Right.
to that 10,000-yard mark.
yeah, that too. Yep, kind of. Yep.
Okay, real Mr. Cole, I get you, but Robert Woods has been there since 2017, so he's been there for 5 years. So I mean, it's 5, 6. What difference does that make? Freaking UCF Jaguar in here again, bro. Don't trash me. Don't come in here, start talking all your crap because your team is actually willing to spend money. Okay.
Yeah,
You know what? I actually envy your team. At least your team tries. They may suck trying it, but they try.
For those who
We're still gonna finish with a
are
better
very
record
curious
than you
about
guys
St.
with
Peter's, those are curious about the St. Peter's game. St. Peter's is up 2 right now with 9 minutes to go in the first half.
Oh my god!
Wow.
Let's go St. Peter's.
Wow.
I haven't watched any March Madness.
Win me that
I don't know
money.
anything that's going on.
Stafford's getting a $60 million signing
crazy.
bonus.
Every time I see that, I just cry a little because we could have done that.
Yes, we could have.
Yeah, that
I was
hurts.
talking with Matt right before the live stream, and I told him that like we were going to sign Stafford, and then the Rams made one more offer, and the Colts didn't counter.
It hurts.
It hurts.
That one does hurt.
Yeah.
And look, the Rams were the ones who to be more aggressive. And look what happens when you're not scared to get better.
Yep.
Perfect example.
And honestly, guys, like I'm not so much mad about how the quarterback situation played out this year because let's face it, the Colts weren't getting Russ. You know, the Colts weren't going to – I don't think the Colts were going to get a quarterback that was going to improve. I think I'm more mad about last offseason, how you basically weren't willing to give up a couple more first-rounders to get your guy in Matthew Stafford, but you were willing to give up a one for Wentz. And now you're screwed. Now you screwed yourself this offseason. You don't have a quarterback. You know, you didn't trust him as a leader. You got rid of him, which I think you got decent compensation back, but you still don't have a first-round pick.
Yeah.
And it's all, and even when you did have an answer at quarterback last offseason, you sat on your hands and you did nothing. You got no weapons. You got nothing for him. So it's just like you did this to yourself, Chris. And it's like this Wentz deal, like you can say, oh, he won about Wentz, but like it's on Ballard because he didn't get anybody for him. You know, like he didn't get any weapons for Carson Wentz at all. And we can't blame that on Carson Wentz alone, you know? So the culmination of the last two off seasons have just screwed over this team. And now we're paying for it because nobody wants to sign with us.
Yep. And then, you know, I forgot what I was going to say. I just lost my train of thought.
Well, I mean, again, this is how the NFL works nowadays. You have to win in free agency. You cannot sit back. Okay? Every AFC team, almost every single one, has gotten significantly better. Not just a little better, significantly better. And we have done nothing. All we have done is gotten worse. We may have fixed one position, but we're still 5 positions in need of something.
Right.
And almost no other team in the AFC has that problem. Almost none. I mean, it's just incredible.
Yeah. And I mean, even like draft, I feel like you should have drafted somebody last year. It was a really good class, right? Like, and it almost makes me more mad because like you had to know this last year's class was a lot better than this upcoming class. And like you did it for some weird reason. You believed in Wentz and it just blew up in your face. And now, unfortunately, we kind of have to lay in the bed we made for ourselves, which sucks this year. It sucks.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Tyler, don't you dare make that freaking statement.
No.
We all hate Ryan Grigson, okay? We've all hated Ryan Grigson.
I love when idiots come in like this.
Like, I don't know about Derek.
Andrew Luck.
I don't like Grigson at all.
We had Andrew Luck, okay?
Yeah.
We know that
was it.
Dan Dockich likes to say, oh, look at record. Oh, look at that. He had the freaking franchise quarterback, had one of the top 3 best quarterbacks in the league. No wonder we won more damn games than we lost because we had one of the best quarterbacks in the league. And that was the easiest decision in the world to make. So miss me with the Ryan Grigson BS.
Yeah, and then this offseason, right, you know, you know how Chris Ballard was always saying to save the money for the guys that they drafted, to save the money for the guys that they develop and keep those guys. So this offseason, they paid their guys. They paid Braden Smith. They paid Leonard. They didn't pay Big Hugh, but they still had the most cap space, and they didn't do anything. They still had the money to go out there and spend.
And they're not going to sign him this offseason, at least not what we're thinking.
Right.
He's probably going to get, and then probably next year, he's probably going to get franchise tagged next year.
Exactly. So why not spend? So why not just
a whole
spend
other
the money?
year? You don't have to pay him. So, like, you know, what's the point in holding on to all this cap for no reason if you're just going to sign the one guy that's going to cost you $20 million the next time you pay him? Like, what's the point in holding on to it?
Right. It's wild. You know, we kind of have like 2 polar opposites in general managers. You know, Ryan Grigson went out there and made some stupid moves with his money, couldn't draft. kind of the opposite with Chris Ballard. You know, he could draft, but he doesn't spend.
Mm-hmm.
He doesn't go out. He doesn't do anything with it.
And listen, I get the whole aspect of everybody saying, yeah, you don't want to overspend. I get it.
But we have it.
But
we have the money.
But the thing is, you haven't signed anyone. You can't use that argument if you're not signing anyone in free agency. Everyone gets overpaid in free agency. Everyone does. That's the whole point of free agency, to go and get the best guys. And sometimes you have to step up and swallow your pride and say, okay, I'm probably spending a little too much on this guy, but I think this guy is going to take us to the next level. I have to do what it takes to get us there. It can't just be, I'm not going to spend money because these guys are all getting overpaid. Ask all these other teams who are overpaying for these guys how they feel about that. How do they feel? How do the Chargers feel? Oh, they feel pretty damn good right now. That defense freaking stacked. How do the Raiders feel? Oh, they got the best wide receiver, the third best tight end, the best slot receiver, one of the best running backs in the game, and one of the best quarterbacks in the game. And they just got one of the best veteran edge rushers in the league. Like,
all right, I gotta answer this argument. You do realize that he had Peyton Manning, right? So that kind of matters. I don't care if he didn't. I mean, he could draft well. I mean, he had a franchise quarterback, so that makes all the difference.
Why? Thank you, Daniel. I appreciate it. Sounds like I'm parrot in Aladdin. Wait, I don't know. I haven't heard that. So I haven't heard Aladdin in a long time. So,
I got you.
You sound like, that's true. You sound like Gilbert Gottfried sometimes when you're yelling, freaking out.
You know, some people have actually told me that, and I think it might actually be true because people have been telling me that a lot. I would be the most hated president in the history of the United States.
I'm thinking about doing a cameo for Gilbert Gottfried just to roast everybody on here. Oh, his roasts are the best.
Yeah, Gilbert Gottfried's a legend.
I'm going to share something. I'm going to share my screen just so you guys understand where Derek is right now.
Oh, God.
Okay, give me 1 second.
No.
Yes, of course.
No.
All right. Here we go. Here we go, everybody.
Look at this. I'm so thick off that I'm molting. Like a pretty ball. Pretty ball, eh? I can't take it anymore. One more. With all due respect, Your Highness. Yes, almighty evil one. That's him? That's the clown we've been waiting for.
All right. I get it. I get it now. All right. I get it.
Oh my gosh. Yes, that's
great.
Derek. 100%. Oh my word. I'm dying over here.
I can't. I'm trying to release my anger, and you all are just feeding into it.
Yes.
Why did I invite any of you on? I'm just kidding. I'm kidding. JDW is fine because he's sitting over there. He's being quiet like a champ, while these two over here are the ones antagonizing me.
I need to get like a cloak and just kind of hunch over because I'm like Palpatine. I'm just encouraging your anger.
Dude, give in. Oh my gosh.
I'm so frustrated.
Free agents.
I swear, bro, when Watson got traded, I'm not gonna lie, it's a good thing I was working out when that news happened. I wanted to explode.
You didn't even need to take anything before working out at that point.
Where do you, bro? I was on the treadmill. I upped that shit up to 15 miles an hour and just ran my freaking heart out. I'm not joking. I ran my freaking heart out because I was like so mad at that moment. I'm like, dude, I can't. I mean, Michael said this the other day and said, whatever the Colts go into at this point, they're going to have the worst quarterback in every matchup that they're at. Every single one. Every single game, we're gonna have the worst quarterback matchup,
except for the Titans games.
Oh my gosh, here we go.
There we go. Give
me Jameis Winston over Tannehill.
I need to get Titan Upload in here.
Let's trade for. I think he'd agree. Trade for Davis Mills. I don't care. Give it all. Give all the whole.
He doesn't have to be on vacation to do that. He does that to me all the time, anyways. He just does it just to get on.
Well, you're so easy to get on there.
Yes, exactly. So That's why you like me because you know that you're
still going on.
I think we can all agree. whoever we get at quarterback is going to be better than Davis Mills. I think we can agree on that.
Maybe.
Daddy long neck.
That may not be true.
I would beg to
want-
disagree.
Daddy
crap
long
legs.
neck is gonna probably own the division here in like 4 years.
No.
Oh gosh.
The only thing he's going to own in a few years is the record for the longest neck in the NFL. That's all he's going to own.
It grows every year, like 5
He grows another inch every year.
It's like the Grinch's heart.
Glennon, the other guy that has a
Just
big.
grows.
Oh
you know,
yeah,
that has
you're
a
that
draft.
guy with the giant neck.
Mike Glennon.
That's what he'll be known
Is he
as.
the other one? Who's got
Yeah,
the
Mike
big-
Lennon's the other one.
the
Yeah.
longer neck?
There's that. Jaguars, yet to be determined. We'll see what Trevor Lawrence looks like this upcoming season. Titans, get anybody. They're better than Tannehill. Play the Chiefs. Everybody AFC West. They have better quarterbacks. We'll just say that. We're going to skip over those. The Eagles,
Wait,
maybe.
what?
Depends who. The Eagles, we play them. Depends who we get at quarterback.
They absolutely have a better quarterback.
I think,
Jalen Hurts is better
Jalen
than
Hurts is overrated.
that we have.
The only reason why they made the playoffs is because they played bad teams.
Doesn't matter. They still have a better quarterback.
Nah. Well, right now they do, but not for long. Whenever you play a solid team, he struggles. Maybe he improves. Washington, Carson Wentz. We'll see who we get. And we'll see what he looks like next year at the point that we play him.
He at least has the best wide receiver that he's ever played with, and that's Terry McLaurin.
True.
Just throw the
That's true.
ball up. and
Don't get
Terry
yourself
McLaurin
in
will
any
get
more
everywhere.
situations that you got.
He's
That
gonna
you
be.
get yourself
He's
into
gonna
this
be
season.
He's gonna be what Jamar Chase is for Joe Burrow. Just say F
Oh,
it. He's down here
maybe.
somewhere. Just throw it up there. Let
We'll just overthrow him. But we got him. So we'll see. We'll see what he looks like with Washington. The Steelers, we'll see what Mitch does. Mitch might be really good, but he also might suck. So we'll see. The Cowboys, yeah, Dak's going to be better than who we get.
There you go, Derek. Mike Glennon, the neck.
Then we play the Giants, the Patriots, and the
Photoshop
Vikings.
by about 2 inches. I'm telling you.
So say 30% of the games, depending on who we have at quarterback, we'll have the better quarterback.
That's high. That's way too high. It's 20% at best.
Nah, I'll go 30. I'll say 30.
20% at best.
Bro, screw it. Zach
Um,
Pascal played quarterback, didn't he?
Yeah, we'll bring Zach back.
Bring him back
Have
at
him play
quarterback.
I don't
There you
know.
go.
He missed that one throw to Hines in the
Right.
Lions game last 2 years ago,
Mhm.
and
Oh,
I,
yeah.
I never forgave him for that one.
Right.
Dang, bro.
That was
That's
a touchdown. That was a touchdown if he made that throw.
Right. I don't know. We'll see.
insane.
But obviously, Daniel Jones. Whoever
Yeah.
we get is going to be better than Daniel Jones. That's probably the worst quarterback we play this year.
well, guys, you know
That's
what?
not
Real talk-
hard. That's not
Real
hard.
talk. You know
I
what
mean, I
sucks?
might be better than Daniel Jones
You know what sucks, guys? Real
if I could
talk.
throw.
Like we finally, hopefully, solved our pass rush problem, and now we
Yeah.
can't figure out quarterback.
Like,
It's almost comical. at
It's
this
truly
point.
sad that just a year or two ago, we were talking about this team transitioning into the next step. This is
Right.
going to be a powerhouse for the immediate future going into the AFC. Now,
Yeah.
there are easily eight teams better than us in the AFC. Easily.
right.
And we may not even be in the top 10 in the AFC.
Sucks.
All because our GM won't spend a damn dollar to go get
Here we go.
anyone.
Good.
You
Good.
could have had Allen
Derek.
Robinson for
Feed
$16
into
million a
Derek.
year.
JDW is like, why? What
But,
have I gotten myself into?
Gosh, man.
I
I'm
don't even remember what I was going to
enjoying
say.
I am enjoying it.
Oh, yeah.
I
Colton
bet
does
you
bring up
are.
a good
I
point
bet
in the
you are.
comments.
You're just sitting there. You're just watching me go nuts. And you're just like, oh, this is why I joined this.
Why should I go crazy when you're doing it for us?
Exactly.
Yeah.
Look, guys,
Yeah,
don't
no.
worry.
You need to deal with all of it.
Don't worry. We're projected to have over $100 million next year. So we'll be fine. We'll get
It's
people
not
there.
going to matter. We could have
I can't-
200 million.
Feed into
We could
the
have
Derek.
100 million more than anybody else, and we'll sign 2 guys.
I can't play the music because copyright, but I'll do that.
You know what? I would say this.
Derek,
We had like
Derek,
120 million. Hold on, JDW. I'm making a
Derek.
point here. 120 million dollars.
Derek.
Give 80 million of that to Patrick Mahomes the next year. Trade for Patrick Mahomes. I swear to God, watch this team become an immediate powerhouse. Just
Derek.
watch.
Do it. Why not?
Derek,
answer
What?
his question.
drink another beer.
All right, he's gonna be chill now, hopefully. Bro, I don't know what to do like at this point.
So
What are your guys'
Y'all
thoughts? There's
chill on
been some
Titan
smoke.
Grossi, man. He's a friend of mine. All right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He's a
He's
chill.
okay.
He's a chill dude. All right.
What are your guys' thoughts on Tyrann Mathieu? I've heard there's some smoke around that potentially.
I don't think we need a safety, though.
You don't?
Right?
Really? I mean, without George
Blackman
Odom, though.
Oh, yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah, but we still have Blackman and
Matthew
Willis,
is
right?
not looking to be a backup.
Right.
I don't think he would be.
Matthew's not looking to be a backup. And why would you sit Julian Blackman and reduce his growth when you've already seen him play well? Like,
Or what if you do put him where Willis is? I mean, Willis did seem to struggle in coverage last year. I think.
Yeah, but I don't think that. But Tyrann Mathieu is a lot more of a box safety than
Right.
anything.
He's not?
He plays a lot like Jamal Adams. He comes down the field and he hits people. I get that that's kind of the look they're wanting to get for Kari. I think that would be something that could be interesting, but I just don't know how that's going to go in Gus Bradley's defensive system, though.
If he runs like a system with 3 tight ends, okay, I'm for Matthew.
That's a fake report.
Yeah, that
by the
wasn't
way.
true.
That
was a
wasn't
fake Ari.
true. Yeah, that he did not go to the 49ers.
George Odom went to the Niners.
Schefter and Rappaport have not said it
Yeah.
at all, so it's a fake report.
So Derek, with the cover 3, they do run 3 safeties. So I mean, ideally, you could have all 3 of those guys get a lot of playing time. So
Yeah.
I wouldn't be
At that
opposed
point,
to
I'd be for it, and improves the secondary, which is what we need to do. So, I mean, I'd be more for that.
And it would make the Odom getting released make a lot more sense. Oh, jeez.
He's calling Andrew Luck. That's what he's doing.
No.
Hey there, brother. Andrew, want to come back and play for the Colts? All chips in.
Oh no.
But no.
Yeah, seriously.
No, I don't know what we're gonna do.
There's no
But
going back from
I'm
that.
cool, calm, collective. I'm waiting to see the
Lyle
results on
Collins
the
is
field.
going to Cincy.
Yeah, that's what it looks like.
It sounds like it because he's meeting them again on Monday.
Yeah,
So,
isn't he meeting another team though?
I think he is, but he's meeting Cincy for a second time.
Right.
I think he's interested in them because
Yeah.
I think they're willing to pay him more to bring him there. So
That makes me think of another question. So do you guys think that Chris Ballard's stubbornness to move Big Q to left tackle is getting annoying?
Here's the thing. I don't know. It's weird because I understand why he doesn't want to move him because again,
More
you
money.
drafted him as a guard. Okay. You
Right.
drafted him as a guard because that's his main position. That's where he's best at. Left tackle is completely different.
Left tackle is more important. Though.
Yes,
But
it
he
is.
doesn't want to
exactly
play left tackle.
It's more different, yes, but at the same time, just because he's all pro at left guard does not mean he's going to immediately be an all pro at left tackle. We know he can play left tackle, but my guess is he's not going to be an elite left tackle. Okay.
Right.
He might be a really good left tackle, which is nice.
Yeah.
But at the same time, again, I just think I think it's hilarious because it's just like, here's where I think the problem is Ballard is you're either going to have to tell him he needs to play left tackle or you're not going to have a job here because I'm not going to pay you left tackle money to play at left guard. So you can't have it both ways. You can't be upset at him not playing left tackle and not pay him that way as well. You got to understand that that's what That's what you're need. That's what he wants to be at. That's the position he's best at. He's all pro at it. I just don't see why you have to force him to play a position that he doesn't want to play.
All right. And then how about signing a guy like Terron Armstead? Still got a chance to get someone like that, but if we're not going to have that franchise guy there right now, money. Yeah, he's going to be
all that you're tied up into him, into the offensive line. I hate that, man. Like, don't get me wrong. Like, we all watch the Andrew Luck get hit, a lot, throughout the course of his career, but also like, I think that would be almost overkill, with the amount of money you have invested strictly in the offensive line. I feel like if you were to do that, you'd have to almost trade like Ryan Kelly or something. It sucks, but I honestly don't know what to do because like there's so much wrapped up into that.
But I wouldn't mind trading Kelly, starting Pinner, because I don't think there's that big of a drop off. I honestly don't think there's going to be that big of a drop off. So maybe trade Kelly then, but maybe Matt Pryor will do just fine.
I mean, here's the thing. I don't hear the only reason why anyone cares about a Big Q playing left tackle is the money. That's the only reason. That's the only reason anyone cares whether he's a left guard or a left tackle. It's the only reason. It's not because he could be elite at it or he could be really good at it or anything else. It's not that. It's just the fact that it's money, money, money. Well, here's the thing. If you're that worried about money, maybe you should start focusing on some of these other contracts that you're paying for some of these guys, like Braden Smith, who you're paying $18 million a year for, who didn't even play half the year last year after you signed him and wasn't that great this year. You let your right guard go in free agency, who, by the way, was your most available and reliable offensive lineman that you've had over the last 3 seasons. And then your center, Ryan Kelly, who has, not been as good as he was in 2020. He hasn't been as good since. And he's not been living up to the contract. He's still really good, but he's not been living up to the contract. I mean, it's all about the money. That's the problem. If you have a problem with the money and you want to pay Big Q and pay a left tackle, you need to start focusing on moving some of these other guys then.
Yes, that's my problem with paying Kelly so much. If you're going to pay someone as a number one paid guy in that position in his respective group, he's got to be great all around. Not just run blocker. He can't be inconsistent. He had injury concerns. Yeah, you paid him as the number one center in your mind, money wise. I don't think that was a great idea.
Again, it's just look. Teams have been showing you time and time again. Okay, who's the teams that invest the most money in the offensive line over the last few years? Okay, it's been, I know. But here's the thing: the Cowboys and the Colts over the last 10 years have been the teams that have been investing the most money in their offensive lines. What success have they had? None over the last few years of getting anywhere to a significant point.
Makes sense because you look at the Rams and the Bengals. They didn't have
Bengals, who had one of the worst offensive lines in football, showed you a team that was supposed to finish last in its division went to the Super Bowl with an extremely below average offensive line. Now I get it that you can't allow that to continue to happen. Yeah. We're not saying to let the Colts offensive line just go abysmal. We're not saying to get rid of all of them. That's not the point. The point is you can't invest 40% of your cap into your offensive line and expect to be successful. You can't do it. It just doesn't sustain anything. It just doesn't.
So I think for me, the Colts need to, this is a big crossroads for them. They need to figure out what their plan is moving forward. All right. Are they going to go all in? Whether that means go, trade for a quarterback and go all in. And honestly, we don't think that's a great idea because how stacked the AFC is. Or are they going to start, unfortunately, having to trade some really good players? Because if you're not going to be competitive for the next 5 years, what's the point of wasting these players' primes? These players are, people might disagree with me. Do you guys feel like some of these players are kind of frustrated with how this organization, the lack of things the organization has done this offseason? I get that sense, honestly.
I think they're just frustrated that we don't have consistency with our quarterback from year to year. I think that's just what they're mostly upset about. If we had, Wentz for another season, I don't think you would hear them freaking out like they are right now.
Right.
It's just we got to get a quarterback who can be there for multiple years.
Yeah. It just seems like this team has like mixed direction. They don't have a clear direction on what they want to do because on one sense, like last offseason, okay, you're like, okay, they're building for the future with, getting rid of all their defensive linemen and going and drafting 2 guys. All right. They're thinking their window's just opening, right? And then they go and do things like they trade for Carson Wentz and they go, sign Eric Fisher. And they do some things that you're like, okay, are they trying to win now? Like, what's the deal? It just seems like this team doesn't have a clear direction on what they want to do. Are they in it now? Do they feel like their window's here now? Or do they feel like they have to wait? And they have to make that decision because they've signed Phillip Rivers. Yeah, you just don't. I don't know, man. Like they have to figure this out because if they don't, like Ballard's going to be gone and Reich's going to be gone. I think maybe even next offseason. It's crazy that might sound to some people. Like
honestly, though,
I think Ballard's fine. The one I think that is at risk of losing their job is Reich.
I think
that's who I
think it's the complete opposite.
Yeah, but Irsay has been really showing.
When you finish the season like you do, that's going to hurt your chances.
I understand that, but at the same time, when Irsay is telling you all chips in and he's telling you that it's time that things start changing, I don't think he meant for Ballard to continue to do the same strategy and allow this team to go from one of the best rosters in the league to now having the 10th best roster in the AFC alone.
I don't know.
Go ahead, JDW.
Oh, I lost my train of thought already. I was just listening to him.
Look, they're both at fault. Okay, we can all sit here and say that they're both at fault for what's going on. Matt brought up a good point earlier, and I think JDW even brought it up as well, that Reich allowed this team to get complacent. That's on him. I know people say, oh, they're grown men. Yes, but it is a team game. It is football. It's a long season. People sometimes linger, and things like that get to people's heads.
Okay, yeah, but also with Frank, you love Frank, right? And he does motivate the team in a good way, in an awesome way. But he's always finding ways to get this team up against their backs. He's always finding ways for this team to have to struggle later on in the games or later on in the season. He's always putting them in a spot where, you got to win out to make the playoffs, or you got to win these last 2 games, and you can't even do that. You got outcoached by an intern head coach, and who the Jaguars have? I don't remember who the Jaguars have.
Right.
I don't know.
Cody, this one's agreeing with you.
But also, yeah, it's not all Frank Reich. You got to put some on players too. It's it's both sides. Yeah. But when the players are constantly, making those small mistakes, that if you didn't make those mistakes, that's a big difference. Those little mistakes add up, and it always seems to be the same thing when we're playing big teams or even smaller teams in big games. We always struggle to do the small things right. It's the small things that we're struggling to get there.
Or Hirsch, that's how you say his name. I wasn't talking about it's Frank Reich's fault this offseason. I was talking about in the last few games this past season. That's his fault that he allowed him to get complacent. This offseason, as far as getting players here and whatnot, that's on Ballard. That's not on Reich. But
really if
Frank Reich would not have allowed this team to get complacent, and if you would have drilled it in their head that, hey, we can't, just slow down. We got to continue to do what we've been doing for a long time, we would have been in the playoffs. Everybody was complacent last year in the last 2 games. I would even say, last 2 games. Ballard can't control what happens on the field, like in the last couple games.
Yeah, you see, Frank, I don't know, man. It's just
Frank's a great coach. I love him. He just can't.
Yes, but
he can't allow that to happen.
Every single year he has been a coach, has never won the first week of the season. We're always at a disadvantage. The immediate start of our season, we are always at a disadvantage because our team just never comes out to play ever in the first couple of weeks. And then, like you said, at the end of the season, it's always in dire need of having to win out or we don't make it in, right? So it's like, why does it always need to come back to that? Why does it always keep coming back to that?
Right. True. And then, I was really happy about how we handled the situation with Wentz having to go. I really liked how he handled that. Him bringing him in and then taking some of that responsibility. I really liked what he did there. I really liked that.
Mm-hmm.
And then, how much do you guys blame Reich when it comes to the Wentz thing? Or is it fair enough to just say he believed in him? We tried. it failed, we
didn't
move on,
work out.
right? Or is it
Yeah.
to say, no, that needs to be a reason why we can't trust Reich?
No, honestly, I think that was, I thought that was fine. Reich knew him from Philly. He had most of his success that year when Frank had him in that year. Frank really helped him. I'm not mad at Frank for trying to go out and go and try to get Wentz like that. I was happy with that because was there really another option out there last offseason like that? Rodgers wasn't going to be traded. Watson was going to be traded. Was there really another option that was going to make a big difference? Outside of Matthew Stafford, because the Colts, whatever.
Right. I think at the time when we traded for Wentz, it was after Stafford went to LA.
Yeah, so
there was not a quarterback available that was better.
Right.
I know Ballard wanted Mariota, apparently. That was a rumor that he wanted to trade for Mariota and it would have cost a lot less, which, looking at it now, at the end of the year, we didn't make the playoffs. I almost would have rather gone that way because we would have at least had our first pick. But looking at what we all thought the team was going into last year, we probably thought, they're a quarterback away from really competing. Wentz could be that guy if Frank Reich can get him out of that funk. And it looked like for a while that he was. But there were some games he struggled. So I would say partly on Reich, but I would also put some of it on Ballard because he did make a trade. Honestly, I think we could have got him cheaper because who else was trading for him?
Now, people want to say Chicago, but actually they reported that Chicago almost wasn't even interested.
Right.
They were just driving up the price. So honestly, it was only the Colts that were trying to go and get Wentz at that time.
Yeah, so if he would have been like this year, we probably could have waited out and got him for like a third.
I mean, it's one of those things where it's just like, folks, he believed in the guy, he took a chance, and it failed. Okay, we all have emotional feelings about something, and when it fails, we don't just say, "Oh, I need to give up on everything. My life is ruined." No, we don't all do that. You say, "Well, crap, it sucks." But at the end of the day, I'm going to try to move on. I'm going to try to learn from that mistake. Like it's not like Reich has been doing this every year. Okay. Because when he said that with Phillip Rivers, what did we do? We actually made it to the playoffs.
Yeah. Almost won that game too.
38-year-old Phillip Rivers, 39-year-old Phillip Rivers. We made the playoffs. Yeah. We almost beat the Bills. And nobody gave us a chance in that game. And we almost won it. Almost.
Yeah.
I mean, that one worked out, right?
Right. Yeah. That's why I think address a couple of these positions a little bit, get good quarterback play. I'm not saying we're going to win the Super Bowl, but I think we can make the playoffs. This is my second.
Yeah,
I don't drink a whole lot.
You said you had a bunch.
I have
down there.
4. 8,
so here's my thoughts, guys.
17. I haven't touched yet.
Oh dang, gotcha. So I think it's a little bit on both. And you can blame Ballard for not going in and helping this roster out more in terms of getting legit receiving options for Carson Wentz, things of that nature. I think that's valid. Last offseason, I think, was by far Ballard's worst offseason as the GM of the Colts. I mean, he did nothing, like beyond re-signing a few of our guys. So he didn't really give Wentz a great opportunity. Like, Wentz obviously has his issues, and we all know that. It's very, we've talked about it. But, I mean, compared to some of these other quarterbacks, Wentz didn't really have. I mean, he has more in Washington than he has had in Indianapolis. So I think Ballard certainly deserves some of that. But I think Frank Reich also does deserve, that as well, because, the team has not won anything under him. They won one playoff game with Andrew Luck. But also, guys, how much of that is the fact that literally Frank Reich has had a new quarterback every single offseason? Is it fair to put a lot of blame on Frank Reich when that keeps happening, when we know how important the quarterback position is in today's league? Good quarterback play can, help you win despite a lot of myriad of issues. If the Colts had a franchise quarterback, they might have, gone to the Super Bowl the last couple of years because they have a very talented roster besides a few key positions, right? So it just sucks, man. It just really, really sucks because I don't feel like Reich has necessarily been given a fair shot at this, but also, like, there are those games where you have to win in your end. You have to win one of the last 2 games and you fail at both of them.
Right. True.
Like to me, that is a Reich issue right there. because you were able to beat some really good teams, right? So what happened? The lack of accountability is on Reich. So Derek and I had this conversation earlier today, and I don't even think I'm going to change Derek's mind on this, but I personally think if the Colts decide to move on, they need to move on for both of them. I don't think you keep Reich or keep this regime, nor keep Ballard. I think they both have to go if you decide that. You just got to clean house and move on. That's how the NFL works, Derek. I'm sorry to say.
I don't agree. I just don't agree. I know that they're both really good at their jobs when it comes to certain aspects. And I know that Frank has not, done a lot to make this team any better as well. But again, like you said before, Ballard has not put Reich in a good enough position to win football games when it comes to the roster he has built. I know he's got a lot of good players, but at the same time, at the positions where it is most important, Ballard has failed to address those positions. And when you're trying to develop a game plan to beat these other teams that do that, and again, Reich has his issues, but he with that inefficient offense last year had the 9th best offense in the entire NFL and had a top 12 defense and had a top 2 defense in takeaways. I mean, it's just at the end of the day, I'm just thinking there are a lot of other issues out here that need to be addressed, and I don't believe that Reich has been given a fair shot for this team.
Yeah, but then if you
fair or not, I think they're tied together. I think they are. Go ahead, JDW. I'm sorry.
And then also when you go back to the Texans game, the playoff game, the one that we won with, right? First half we were amazing. Going off 21 points in the first half, we did amazing. Second half, nothing. Didn't score anything. Just Frank struggled. Also in that Chiefs game, you just did the opposite of what you could have done to beat the Chiefs that game. You just some calls are very questionable, some game plans are questionable. And then even that Bills game, it was the small mistakes. And in that game that cost us. But back in KC and Houston, when you had luck, still struggled to coach the team to a full game.
And think about how many games we blew last year too. That's another thing you have to keep in mind.
Mm-hmm.
We blew the Ravens game. We blew the Bucks game. We blew the second Titans game. And I'm sure there's more I'm just not thinking of right now. If we don't blow those games, and if we hold on to the lead, we're not even having this conversation. We're perfectly fine, I feel like, at this point. I think we're going in like...
Was it Reich's fault that the defense couldn't do anything in the
No, that's on Eberflus.
Jackson. That's on Eberflus, and that's on the players.
But
that's why I'm saying.
We're forgetting this, though. Ultimately, it comes back to the head coach. It has to come back to the head coach because he's the one. I get it. You can blame the defense, but the head coach ultimately has to be the person who gets the blame.
He has the final say.
Why does he always have to get the blame, though? He's not the one that's in charge of how the defense operates every time. That's the defensive coordinator's job, is to adjust to that when you were doing something in the first half that was working and then you change it. And then that change was ultimately why you lost the game. I get that he takes the majority of the blame, and he should when his play calling is bad. I get that, but that's not a reason. He's not the reason that Carson Wentz threw a left-handed interception to the Titans that threw us into overtime. He's not the reason that we blew the lead against the Ravens. He's not the reason that for some reason at Jacksonville, our players just shut all out. It is part of his fault because he didn't get them ready, but at the same time, you as players also have to adjust to that. I mean, it can't all just be on Reich. It can't be.
Okay, but then how about those smaller games when the Colts go and face those teams that they should beat, but they come out slow, they struggle, and they don't put them away like they should? That's.
I'd say it just depends on how you lost. I mean, it's also not Reich's fault that Naheem Hines fumbled a punt against Tampa Bay at the 10-yard line, and then a play later they are unable. They score a touchdown, and then it's also not his fault that Leonard Fournette was running
like
for
a maniac.
150 yards in the second half against us for 3 touchdowns. That's not his fault. Matt Eberflus needs to figure out how to stop the run. And we pride ourselves on stopping the run, and for some reason we just couldn't do it.
Right. And now, hey, he's out. I thought that was the thing we had to do coming in for sure, was get rid of him, get a new defensive coordinator. I like the guy we have so far. I think Gus Bradley is going to do some really good things with this team. I think he's going to use guys like Leonard in ways that we haven't really used them before, and I think we're gonna start seeing leads not get blown on the defensive side of things.
Because we're not going to have leads because we have no quarterback.
We have an easy schedule too. You got to remember that. We have an easy schedule. So
also, congrats to former quarterback Jacoby Brissett for getting another job with the Browns.
Yes.
So he's going to be the backup for the time being. So.
That's cool.
Well, he'll probably start in the first couple weeks.
Oh yeah, because the suspensions.
Yeah, I'm guessing the suspension's going to happen.
Yeah, I'm glad he's
he had a freaking troll in here. This dude saying Big Q is gone.
No, he's not.
No, he's not.
Ballard will not let him.
Only way that would happen is if you gave up like 2 firsts to get him, and nobody's doing that for Big Q. I'm sorry.
I would be okay with
AFC West is pretty hard. Yes,
I would be.
We also play some pretty.
But I'm not just saying.
Yeah, that Jets game. Ugh. That was when I think they realized we got to change our defense.
I said the same thing, bro. Cody, you remember that? We went into that hotel room, bro, and we were talking all night about how, like, that offense, it was perfect all night. But that defense, that was scary as hell.
Right.
Giving up
30.
So
I'll read the schedule again. We're still ranked, like, in the bottom 10 for difficulty of schedule. Yes, we play AFC West. That's not going to be easy. But we play the Titans. We play the Jags. We play the Texans.
I think the Jags.
We play the Eagles, the Steelers, the football team, now Commanders, the Vikings, the Giants, the Cowboys. Which
it's just
honestly, I think we could beat the Cowboys.
Teams like the Eagles, the Vikings, and the Giants. Those are,
and there's others.
And now, Washington Commanders. That's pretty much. We're playing the NFC least, so that's the reason why we get a break.
But the AFC West is gonna be tough. Absolutely. That's 4 games out of 17.
Yeah, because all of those teams are going to make the playoffs.
Yeah, like they're maybe.
Probably.
Do you think all of them are going to make it?
Probably.
Nobody from the North is going to make it?
Other than the only team I could see maybe not going, the only one is the Broncos. I think people will crucify me for that one, but yes.
Really?
I think only one of them that does not make it is.
Why?
Because
I got Raiders.
Because I think the Raiders got important players at the positions that it matters. I know that they got Russell Wilson. Well. I get that. But at the same time, they don't have an elite number 1 receiver at the moment in time. Jerry Jeudy is still a product in what we're trying to figure out. They don't have a tight end. Their offensive line is still kind of struggling. I know they have a solid defense, which is good for them. But at the end of the day, so does the Raiders. Yeah. They have an elite pass rush. They have probably the most improved offense of any team in the league now because of signing Devontae Adams. I just think that the Raiders will sneak out ahead of the Broncos again.
No way.
I think 2 teams from the North is going to make it. Because you got the Bengals, Ravens, Browns. 2 of them are making it.
Yeah.
And then, like Hirsch said, I mean, the AFC West is going to beat each other up. So there's going to be one team that won't make it from the West. But I think North will get 2. West will probably get 3. And then that's it.
It's going to get at least 3.
I think it'd be 3. I think 3. North gets 2. The East and South get none. Well, they get 1, obviously. But no wildcard teams.
DJ Abcool, thanks for the $2. Obviously, no, that's not true. All the defensive problems will not be solved with Bradley because, you still need a number 1 corner at the moment. So, and we still have unprovenness at the defensive line. So,
right. True.
Derek.
Yeah.
Come on, we'll see. The Broncos are going to be better than you think.
I didn't say they weren't going to be good. I'm just saying I just think that if there's one team in the AFC West that potentially doesn't make it, I just think it's the Broncos.
Yeah.
I'm just saying. You can think that if you want to. It's fine. I'm just telling you, I just think that it's the Broncos.
Come on, they got Russ, Cortland Sutton, Tim Patrick.
Congratulations.
The running backs are wild. Javonte Williams.
The Raiders have Devontae Adams, Darren Waller, and Hunter Renfrow.
Okay, but the quarterback isn't as good.
Derek Carr is a
still
good
top
quarterback.
12 quarterback.
Okay. No, I'm not saying Derek
Russell
Carr's
Wilson
bad.
might still be top 10, maybe.
Derek Carr, I would say, is fringe top 10, like 11, 12.
Yes, and
range.
Russell Wilson is just inside the top 10.
Yeah.
So,
So
Russell's
it's
still
not
better.
that drastic of a difference.
And I think the Raiders' defense is better than the Broncos' defense.
Really?
I think so.
Well, I think Chandler Jones
That
definitely
definitely helps it.
That's a ton better. I mean, they have a much better pass rush than the
Yeah.
Broncos do now.
I think that's
going
the
to
big
hurt that big
difference.
time.
And I think Rocky Sin is going to help the secondary out. I don't think it's going to be like a monster difference. But
I
think
just
he'll help
loved
them
what
out.
Russell Wilson said, saying, I want to play here for another like 10 years. Like,
Yeah.
Brokeem, you are not Tom Brady. Stop
Yeah.
it with that. You're going to be
Live with 10
35
years.
before the end of this year, and I don't think you're going to make it to 45 years old.
Right.
Hey, Mighty Mac, that's all I do, man. That's all I do. I'm just trying to be realistic out here. It's all good. It's all good, man. It's all right. These guys all have different opinions than me, but it's okay. I stand on this throne over here, trying to hold
Wrong.
myself.
You have one person that you agree with. Congratulations.
Wrong.
What do you mean? They've all been cheering on for my rants. They've all been cheering them on. I want CJ Stroud,
Bryce Young.
please.
I'll
No!
take Bryce
Another
Young.
Ohio
Yes.
State
CJ
guy.
Stroud.
Right.
Another Ohio State.
Ohio
guy.
State
I do
quarterbacks
not
don't work
want
out.
a left arm throwing quarterback. I don't want.
Another
Hey,
Ohio State. guy.
Ohio State
Wow.
quarterbacks don't work.
How the frick is Tua doing? Huh?
It's doing all right.
How's that going? How's that
He
going?
didn't have a good
All right.
coach, like offensive coach, I should say. Not defense is what.
He's not been good. He's not been
Just
good.
wait.
I don't
Just
care.
wait.
So
Wait till
so what did Andrew Luck have? Andrew
Yeah,
Luck have a
Pep
good
Hamilton.
offensive coach? Did he?
had Pep Hamilton.
Oh,
Oh, Lord, have mercy on my soul.
Andrew Luck is a generational quarterback, though. Like, we're talking about like pristine fine dining versus fast food. Like, obviously Andrew Luck is miles better.
Yes, that's
Yeah,
true.
that's true
The
too.
only
I'm surprised he
reason that
hasn't
the
left yet.
Raiders might not make it is because of their head coach.
Yeah, I'm surprised he hasn't left Vegas yet.
yeah.
What do you mean Vegas? Yeah.
Yeah, I'm surprised McDaniels hasn't left them yet.
He hasn't decided to go back. Yeah.
Just
The
go back to New
rivalry
England.
is back on. All right. Hey, at least the good thing is the Colts are 1-0 since Ballard's made that statement, right? Or is that 2-0?
Brayton.
2-0 or 1-1 now. It's
Brayton.
1-1 because we didn't.
Yeah.
Because we lost to them the first time with Luck, and then we.
Brayton.
beat them this. What?
The Ohio State quarterback thing's a joke, Brayton.
People get so triggered by us.
No,
I'm
no,
joking.
It's cool, man. It's a joke. Everybody.
Yeah, I'm
everybody
just
goes along
joshing
with it.
around.
Everybody goes along with it. It's cool.
Yeah, I'm
We
joshing
just
around.
make. We
It's
just
the
make
same
Derek
thing
so
with
mad.
Ohio State wide receivers too. We all say
Yeah,
the
they
same
all get hurt.
all the time. They all get hurt. They all suck. That's just what we gather. Except Ted Ginn and Santonio Holmes for a little while.
Yeah, true,
Oh yeah.
true.
Santonio Holmes made one of the greatest catches in Super Bowl history. Remember
Right.
that? Remember that catch on the sideline with like 3 defenders there? That thing was sick.
Yeah.
Free kicks. I'll answer that. Yes.
Okay, I gotta put him in
I'm
timeout.
sacrificing.
I'm sorry, I gotta put you in
What
timeout.
I'm doing it for the team.
Don't look. I think
What just
that's
happened?
hilarious, but don't do that.
Look,
That's,
What did
please.
you? I missed it. What happened?
Don't. I'm not gonna say it out loud. Don't do that.
Just
don't
send it to me in the
say that.
private.
I that's really funny, but come on. I'm trying to keep it PG in here. Let's not make the chat.
is it PG still?
No, that's not PG. That's
No, I mean, has it been PG here?
no, but I
No.
mean it's been pretty calm for a
As
while.
Derek is sitting here drinking
I
3
just
cans
put
of
him in
beer.
timeout. I didn't ban him. We'll chill. All right?
Shit, I don't know. I want to see what he said. Just private chat it to
Bro,
me.
just literally look in the StreamYard.
I can't see it. Who said it?
Okay, hold on. I'll
Yes, free kicks. I will. One small sacrifice for salvation.
hold on. God, I can't type.
You might as well give me the keys to Indianapolis at that point.
God,
Uh, He's drinking too much. We're kicking in.
Bro, it's literally been my second beer. Shut up.
Oh, okay.
Don't worry, he's going to come back in 3 minutes, guys.
Yeah.
He's good. We're only putting him in timeout because he said a bad thing, but we thought it was funny either way. Okay, that's why I'm not banning him. It's funny. Shut up, bro. You guys suck. Can we move on to something else now? So stupid. Oh my gosh.
What the heck?
What?
I just got this really weird DM.
Uh-oh.
Is it free kicks?
It's no, I don't think it says real Carson Wentz is at Indianapolis Colts forever. That's literally what it says. I have no idea what that means.
Wait, what?
Huh?
Real Carson Wentz is at Indianapolis Colts forever. I have no idea what that means.
What does that mean?
I don't know. I'd rather not know.
I'm so confused.
I
Some
get
people
this
just don't
stupid
know how
GM.
to.
I get these weird DMs all the time, bro. It's weird.
Yeah, because people don't understand grammar and how things work.
People think I actually have insight, and I'm like, come on. I don't. I've admitted it.
All right.
DM on Twitter.
So why don't we just go through some of these comments? Just put them on
Yeah,
screen
might
and
as
stuff
well.
and-
It's all just free kicks.
Yeah, that's all it is at this point.
Oh my god.
Free
Guys,
him.
he's coming back in less
Free
than
my man.
All right, chill.
He did nothing wrong.
I honestly don't understand it, but that's just me. Maybe I'm just I don't know why.
Oh, dude.
Bless your virgin mind. God
Dude,
bless
who's that CFL quarterback that everyone's talking about? That the Colts should get?
CFL. I don't know.
I don't know.
CFL
There's someone in
slow
my
thing.
comment section that was.
I don't know. People keep
that was
saying
talking
about freaking James Morgan, and I don't understand what's going on
Captain
with James Morgan.
James
I got
Morgan.
that so many times, bro. Why does that?
Well,
keep
we all know who we need to bring back. We all know.
Kelly.
Chad Kelly.
Sweat.
Yeah.
Bring him back.
You know, the real franchise QB.
Let's bring in Mike
He's the
Glennon.
one.
Mike Glennon, yes.
Yes.
Screw it. Let's get Kerry Collins out of retirement. Why not? So we can get like a concussion that lasts for 3 months.
Look, here's the thing. If you get Mike Glennon, at least he can see above everybody. He won't have a hard time seeing where his
That's
receivers
true.
are.
With his freaking brontosaurus neck. Oh my gosh.
Oh, that's
Yes.
good, dude.
Oh man. James Morgan.
Captain
Best
James
quarterback
Morgan.
you've never heard of.
man.
Yeah, best
Oh.
quarterback you've never heard of. Yeah, right. Because only Colts fans ever think that it's a smart idea to take the guy that does well in the preseason, barely, and say that's your franchise quarterback.
Right.
We
Who's
should
that-
just try it.
Who's
Just
that
try
dude
it.
that we had that went to the XFL and balled out? Was it Philip Walker?
Yeah,
Yeah.
PJ Walker. Yeah.
PJ Walker.
Yeah.
Bring me Jordan Teamu.
Him and Cardale Jones both did really well.
Oh, bring me Cardale Jones, bro.
Cardale Jones.
Hey, he's
The Ohio
always looking
State
for a
guy.
freaking job, man. I've talked with Cardale actually before.
Nice.
Damn,
Like,
bro. So
yeah.
you're breaking it on the podcast. Cardale Jones is
Back
coming.
and he's texting me first. All right.
Weird deal. 7 million.
Yeah. You know what? You know what freaking sucks? Like the draft is like still a month away,
Right.
and like we're just like not even talking about free agents. It's great.
I just
Oh.
hey, free kicks. When you get out of timeout, just put something in the messages, man. I want to just say I'm sorry. Okay.
Oh, that was fun. That was funny.
I have this weird feeling that the reason things are taking so long is because we are big fish hunting and we will land Matt Ryan.
What if
Okay.
we land Kyler Murray?
What?
What
Why?
if we just land him?
What are we big fish hunting about? Like what are we big fish hunting? Like what
Go
are
for the big QB?
That's what I'm saying. We already, the big fishes are already caught, man.
yeah?
Big fish are already caught. I mean, maybe the
I don't like that.
medium-sized
feeling.
fish.
I'll take Desmond second
I'll
round.
take Desmond. At least
Let
if
him
you
sit
let
for a
sit
year or
for
two
while,
with
yeah.
Matt Ryan.
Wildcat
Heck, if
for
we
the
don't
whole
get Matt
season.
Ryan or James Winston, screw it.
We're
Draft
just
him.
gonna run the Wildcat for the whole season.
Yeah.
Watch, we go just come out of left field to go trade for Dak Prescott, and there's everybody just loses their mind.
I mean, we should have made a bigger pitch for him when he was a free agent. Remember that?
Yeah.
True. But no, yeah, if you don't get Ryan or Winston, screw it. Draft a
Yeah.
quarterback. Draft me Desmond Ritter. First year might be a little bumpy, but screw it.
Rainbow trout. Nice.
A $100 a pound rainbow
Yeah,
trout.
that is important.
That's very expensive, people, in
Yes.
case you're wondering.
Yeah, that's very.
very expensive.
Which I don't get why that is. Because, I mean, look, guys, I know he can be good, and I know he can, like, be your guy to mentor, but he's not going to do anything for you.
Who's going to do anything for us, though?
Exactly my point.
That's why I think you go for him and you let a rookie develop under him.
And that's fine. I'm just saying don't
That's my
him to
thing.
act like he's going to be the savior of our franchise.
No, I'm thinking future. I'm thinking about what's best for 10 years from now. I think if you get somebody to learn under him for a year or two,
Yeah,
be good.
Wouldn't be opposed to that.
he still has an arm, too. Like, he can still sling it. He has more of a zip than Jimmy Garoppolo, even.
You got that arm.
Oh, my gosh.
How you
Yeah.
feeling up there, Derek?
I'm fine. I'm just depressed.
Like,
Another
I'm waiting
drink,
till
yeah.
the season. I
so,
want to see what our team looks like. so I
so
don't
if
freak
Ty
out.
doesn't come back to Indy, where do you guys think he'd go?
Ty,
Ooh.
Yeah.
it's going to be to a team that's contending. So probably
Right.
Tampa Bay. Or knowing how this year
probably.
on to the Rams.
Probably the Rams, their fifth wide receiver.
Yeah.
Jeez. Or the Packers.
Maybe
I wouldn't mind the
KC?
Packers.
Yeah.
KC.
Probably. Don't give
Yeah.
him $15 million.
They got Juju, right?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, Chiefs got Juju. Juju and Jackson Mahomes are going to be doing their TikToks together.
Gosh.
I can't wait.
Oh, man.
Not Ryan. Not Ryan. That's what I see.
Yeah. Darius Butler. Darius Butler was pretty upset about the George Odom leaving.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
I
Which I
wish we
get.
could have kept him, but, he's going to be starting somewhere at least. So that's good.
Which, yeah, I'm glad for him. It seems like that was it. It was just he wanted to go somewhere and get paid, which makes sense.
Mm-hmm. So
So
good for him. Sad, but I'm happy for him.
Yeah. Landry. Jarvis Landry.
I would
like
take
him,
Landry. At this
Yeah.
point, I'd take him.
But no, but you don't have anything. You don't have anyone to throw to him. Unless you get Matt Ryan, maybe.
I think Derek's dying up there.
Yes.
You know
Derek?
what? You know what? I think if we sign Matt Ryan, or no, trade for Matt Ryan, sign Jarvis, I'd be okay with that.
I'd be happy.
Pittman, Jarvis. I think Jarvis is a great combo.
Watch me wake Derek up. Derek, we should sign Will Fuller. It's not working.
We should have
He's
signed
like,
Juju Smith-Schuster. I think that's
Yeah.
what he's upset about, that we didn't get Juju.
Why?
He's upset we didn't get Juju.
Yeah, I know. He's pretty upset about
He wanted
that.
a Corvette on the 50-yard line.
Shut up. At this point, I'm just dead. I don't even want to argue with you guys anymore.
Right.
I'm at the point where
Oh boy, we got an interesting comment that I don't know if we
Guys,
should look at or not.
All right, come on, pull it up. Come on.
Oh,
we
okay.
don't got beef with them. I ain't got no issues.
No,
We-
I got no.
Look, I've
issues.
got no issues. We've discussed that. We've already talked, so I ain't got no
Wait,
issues.
what?
I mean,
So-
they might have issues with us still. I don't know.
If people are familiar at this point, I feel like we can talk about it. It's not a big deal. So they had some beef with us a couple of years ago. We were first kind of starting the podcast and starting to get some traction.
Mhm.
There was just some beef there. I'm not entirely sure why, because it kind of seemed like it wasn't very warranted. Derek, is that fair to say? We didn't felt like it was very out of the blue.
Yeah,
No
I
way.
mean, it was completely just whacked out.
It was just like these crazy accusations and stuff that we were stealing content. It was just like
it's
really weird. Like, and so we're just like, this is so strange, but we're just going to keep moving on. And so we did, and like, we don't have any beef with them. We've moved on, and, I've tried to make amends if I can. But at the end of the day, you can't get along with everybody, and we're just going to move forward. But that's kind of where I'm at. I think that's kind of where Derek's at too. So.
Well, I don't have any issues. I've been told by both of them that their issue's not with me. So,
and I have no idea why.
Derek's
I
good.
really don't know.
I'm good.
I
got nothing. I don't know what I've just always had Cody's back when it comes to that stuff. So,
right.
I genuinely don't know why.
At the end of the day, we don't care whether or not you like us or whether or not there's anything. Even if you don't respect us, that's fine. But at the end of the day, like, you just don't want to have hate towards us just for no damn reason at all.
Right.
Like, we've got no issues with anybody else here. We encourage you two that are rising podcasters at this point. We've been encouraging you guys every step of the way to try to do what you can and help. We've been trying to help you guys as much as we can. So, it's just kind of been how it is,
Yeah. I mean, everybody has got to start somewhere, right? Like,
yeah.
I mean, gosh, I look back at some of the stuff that we did, like,
oh my goodness, the first videos, man.
It's so rough.
Wait, I get clobbered. Why would I get clobbered? I don't even know who's clobbering me.
I don't know.
I'm confused. Matt Ryan.
Oh,
okay.
Gotcha.
I'm slow. Fun fact. Good news. St. Peter's is up 13.
Dang.
In the second half.
I gotta look to see what other scores are going on. Is there any other game?
The UCLA game's on right now. That's a halftime. St. Peter's is on.
I'm still second in.
St. Mary's lost to UCLA.
Arkansas is so Arkansas is leading New Mexico State by 9.5. Gonzaga's beating Memphis 8-4. It's just 4 minutes into that game. So
yeah. And then
so UCLA won, which sucks because I had St. Mary's winning that, so that sucks.
Yeah, I clicked on the thing. I was like, oh, halftime. I was like, oh, okay, cool.
And of course, Michigan beat Tennessee, which freaking sucks. So yeah, Iowa really screwed me on that other one. So
yeah.
Yeah,
I said it the first game. I said I'm just rooting for the Peacocks the rest of the way.
Man, it's weird not seeing Syracuse.
The Fighting Irish of Notre Dame, Cody.
Well, yeah, also them, but like the Cinderella team.
JDW, my friend Michael at school absolutely freaking hates Syracuse because I think it was in 2015 or no, it was it was 2015 or 16. I think it was 16 that they were like supposed to make a decent run in the tournament. Yeah. And I think he had them going all the way to like the Final Four because I think they were like a second or third seed that year, and they lost in the first round to whoever it was. I was in his dorm room when they were playing, and me and my other friend, and he got so triggered. We both walked out, but we could hear him throwing his chair in his dorm room all over the dorm room. He was
dude, that sounds like me during the Titans game.
Hey, Boris,
I took my computer chair.
I
took my computer chair and I threw it at the wall and a big hole in my wall.
No, bro, I gotta share the funniest freaking thing ever though. We my friend Michael's also a giant Steelers fan, and my friend and I, we used to love to mess with him. There's two separate occasions that we pissed him off, or he got pissed off. We just decided while he was gone for the evening, we were just gonna we're gonna fill up his entire side of his dorm room with Bengals stuff because he hates the Bengals. This was back when they had Vontez Burfict, Adam Pac-Man Jones, the thugs that everyone keeps making of. And we he had a Saving Private Ryan poster hanging over his desk, right? So we printed off a bunch of pictures of Dalton, Vontez, Pac-Man, and someone else, and just stapled their faces on the faces of the guys on the poster. And we put I don't remember who it was. We might have put like Hutchman Zada's name on the back end of his Antonio Brown jersey that he had. And
Nice.
he was getting so mad at us because that was hilarious. And no, the one time that had me dying inside, we were watching. You guys remember when the Patriots were playing the Steelers in the playoffs? I think it was 2017. When who was it? That freaking that dude that played like lacrosse or something for so many years and just started going nuts with Brady that year. Who was that? I can't remember his name off the top of my head, but he was that white guy that like never played in the NFL the year before that, and then like just became like their number one guy. I don't remember who he was, but like they were up 24-0 at that point, and he had a jar of Steelers M&Ms, right? And so there were two. Now it's me. It was me, my two other friends, and these two random dudes who we didn't know, but they came into the lounge to watch the game. And he got so triggered. Chris Hogan, that's the name. Yes. Thank you, Alex Jones. Yes, Chris Hogan.
Oh Lord. I'm on board with that.
Yeah, okay, yeah, we'll do that. Yeah, so
oh no, here we go. Oh gosh, there's more.
And so
They're coming in strong.
He took the jar and threw it against the wall. M&Ms went everywhere in the lounge, bro. And he ran out the room and didn't come back. And the two dudes in the back were on the phone when that was happening. And they were like frozen. They didn't know what to do. And then the dude apologized to the dude on the other end of his phone. He's like, I'm sorry, man. Some dude just went nuts in here and just threw some shit everywhere. I don't know what just happened. So I was like, gosh darn it. Oh my gosh.
And then I don't know if he's still in here, but Deep Patel, yes, I do have a Twitter. It's horseshoe_pod. And he was asking earlier, so.
How close are you to 1K? You got
You're close, aren't you?
Yeah, I'm 68 away.
Damn,
bro.
I wish it was.
Every single person in this chat right now goes over and subs to Inside the Horseshoe Podcast.
That'd be cool.
We can have this boy over here and 1,000 subs before the end of the night.
That'd be cool.
Come on, y'all. Come on.
I really wanted to say I was 69
How many are
subscribers
in here right
away.
200 in here right now.
Oh, come on.
There's
Come
200
on.
of you in here.
Come on.
I guarantee 68 of you are not sub to this man. I guarantee it. Come on. Y'all got to help me out here, please. It takes 2 seconds. Please just sub. You know what? I'm going to help him out. Hold on.
He's got 2 more.
I did? Cool. Thank you, guys.
You're at 931.
Ooh.
Nice.
I'm gonna
69.
get this link. I'm gonna put it in the stream. Drink 5 more beers till you pass out, or I'll go.
Oh, he's in a shotgun.
Oh crap! Okay.
He's in a shotgun.
Okay, now we're growing. All right. Thank you, guys.
Let's go. And go get JDW too. Where are you?
Yeah, let's get JD. Let's get JD. Where are you at right now?
Let me see. I think at 472.
Let's get you to 500.
All right, I got you, bro. I'm gonna put your link to yours in here too.
You make good
472 right now. We'll get him to 500.
Yes, sir.
All right, ladies and gents, here we go.
Wow.
Yeah, let's get JDW there.
Help people out.
You got to do what you got to do for the boys.
And we got JDWs in here too, so I'm gonna be following both of them until we get there. Because I'm weird like that, and I like to watch this stuff.
Right.
Let's see inside the horseshoe.
Matt's at 938. Dang, bro.
Thank
That was
you.
quick.
Shots. I don't know if I've
JDW at 476. There we go. 477.
Damn.
Mm-hmm.
Come on, y'all, help me out here.
We're
Come
getting
on.
to both Both to the
Wild.
yes, because these guys deserve it. They pump out content and they do a great job.
I appreciate that.
Big inspiration from you two, though. Big inspiration.
Hey
Thank
man,
you.
we just do what we can do, man. All we do is just make videos all the time. That's just what we do.
Just gotta
How many
spread the love,
videos do we have now on our channel?
Ooh, over 1,000, right?
Yeah, we've got
Damn.
over 1,000, I think.
There you go.
It's pretty decent.
We hit 2 million views on our channel like 2 weeks ago.
That's
That was
wild,
pretty
man. That's
Yeah, that was
wild.
crazy.
Wild.
I still am in shock that we did that. Because seriously, like 2 off seasons, what was it like 2 off seasons ago or so? We were like just at 1,000, so it's crazy.
Yeah. Anyone watch the fights tonight? I haven't watched any of the fights yet.
I don't even
Say I haven't seen any of them yet either.
Much of that stuff, honestly.
I think that's partially my fault, so I'm sorry.
Say probably me too.
Pretty good.
It's just Matt and I are usually a lot more of the
It's me
vocal people.
poking
That's how it is.
at Derek.
I love it. All right, just an update. Matt's at 940. GDW is at 481.
Sheesh.
Thank you guys.
Hey, Lawrence,
So-
you want to jump in, bro?
You
Yeah, get him on
Hey, you
here.
want to hop in? We're still
Get in here.
talking in here.
Come on,
Lawrence, you
get
can
in
start.
here.
You can start a fight with Derek. It'll be
Yeah,
all
come
right.
on, come on.
Yeah.
Why does everybody want to have a fight? Is it because I'm
it's so
drinking?
easy.
Is that what it is?
is?
Because I've been
That's
drinking?
probably true.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because you're easy to pick on.
I'm an even
That's
more
true.
fun person when I'm drinking, I swear.
You say one thing that just hits you the wrong way. That's it.
Thank you.
How's y'all's March Madness brackets doing? Mine's not been too bad. You
Yeah,
know,
mine's
I
been
mean,
alright.
for a guy that didn't watch almost any college basketball this year, I've not been doing too bad.
See, mine's
Yeah,
been
I
pretty
think
good.
Derek needs a shotgun of beer.
I'm not going to shotgun beer.
Why not?
Here we go again.
You scared, Derek? Jeez.
Yeah, he's scared.
I'll be honest, I've only ever shotgunned a beer like twice, and I'm not very good at it.
So what?
Fair enough.
Appreciate that, free kicks. I'm on one. Hey, I'm always on one, bro. Beer just makes it better.
Right.
I feel like
Yeah.
for real, we're gonna all just have to actually have like a real hangout sometime, like somewhere in like Indy
Yeah.
or something.
Yeah.
Just-
So I plan to go to the Colts and Giants game. I've already got planned out. Like when like as soon as the schedule comes out, I'm buying tickets and I'm going, man. So if anyone's going to the Colts and Giants game,
Well, if
I know you
Cody and
guys
I
have
are still
close stuff.
going, then you absolutely need to hit me up.
The Colts and Giants game is not going to be in Indy though.
Oh,
Oh,
it's not in Indy. Oh shoot!
Yeah.
Damn, that's
Screw it. I might try to go still. I haven't been in New York, so be a good opportunity.
Free kicks is alive.
Nah, I don't drink.
Yeah, he
I'm
doesn't.
lame.
Guys, it's all good.
I'm a lame-o.
No, man, I applaud other people that don't. I applaud people that don't drink because it honestly is a bad. It's a bad.
Derek.
Oh my god!
Well, thank you, Dick. Well, thank you, Lawrence.
Gosh darn it, me! I forgot. Okay, I was sending it to everybody else. Okay, I was sending it to everybody else in our chat right now, and then I forgot that I had that saved. All right, I'm sorry, Lawrence.
No, I told
Oh,
Derek
let's get
before the
Colts
stream,
rolling
I
here.
tried once, and like none of it phased me at all. So I'm like terrified that I just won't be phased, and it'll get to a point to where I'll drink an unhealthy amount. So I'm avoiding that.
Oh, Michael's gonna join us as well.
Nice.
This is about to get spicy, boys.
Heck yeah! It's been a while since I've had this many Colts content creators in one space at one time. It's been a while. True. And again, if JDW or Matt or even Cody, if you guys don't want to hang around, then just let me know. We'll just you guys.
I'm out. No, boy.
I'm not keeping you. I'm just saying.
No,
you know,
I'm good. I'm having a blast, man.
I'm a
Matt's
loser,
a
man.
stoner.
Is that? Do I really give off that?
You look like somebody that does occasionally pop one.
I
Just,
don't.
You know,
surprisingly, I don't.
I want to see.
I've never been offered, so that's
I want to see.
Well, I was
arguing.
offered.
Oh my
I was
gosh.
offered one time when I was in LA, by some random dude that I never met before. I was a little worried that he might have put something in it.
Everyone knows you take it because the randos always have the good stuff. All right.
Look, man, I'm afraid.
All
I can't do
right.
it. Hey,
What's up?
What's up, dude?
Appreciate you.
Yeah, sorry. I was sending those links in the chat, and I thought I had the StreamYard link copied, and I didn't realize that I was sending that over. So
I've done it before, so I can't blame you. You know, it happens. You get busy, and you're like, I sent a link. Who was it? Oh, I sent the wrong link to Matt Conti once. Okay. And he's like,
the
"Are
link
you sure?" And I was like, "Oh crap, I'm sorry." Oh,
get all the Colts content.
it wouldn't even be close.
Okay.
I'm sorry, it wouldn't be close.
Suck.
Matt,
Somebody
what?
somebody would destroy me.
No, it won't be close.
JD, I'm sorry. Look, I try to be nice, JD. I would absolutely obliterate you. All right. I made like my dad, who would always kill everybody else in sports games, give up at halftime. I made him a sore loser. I hung 56 points on him.
The best thing ever from a football game, it was Cardale Jones. He went to Children's Hospital and played this kid in Madden. And they said he won like 81-21. And then he said, actually, this is false information. It was actually 91-14, and I made him rage quit. So y'all can chill.
That reminds me of Kanye playing basketball against some people that were in Make-A-Wish and just killed them.
Hey, Lawrence, I have a question for you. Can you tell Derek something will make him mad? Because everybody wants to see him rage again. We've all done it tonight. He's got to hear it from you here.
I honestly, hold on. I just got a phone call from my daughter, so I'm going to have to mute myself for a second. Hold on.
Dang it.
He'll be thinking on that.
Yeah. He already has me triggered, bro. I freaking thought he had something on him the other day about Baker, and it hasn't been announced yet. Hold up. We got Michael in the chat. Hold on. Here we go.
Uh-oh.
Michael.
Here we go.
What's up?
What's up?
What's going on, man?
Oh man, nothing
good.
much, dude. We're just hanging out. I'm drinking, and everybody else is, and we're just talking about the Colts, man.
We'll see how mad you get there.
Yeah,
That's the game plan right now.
I am currently actually walking my dog. I just got back home, so
Gotcha.
figured I'd jump on here. I'll get into a better lighting here in a little bit. But what's going on, y'all? Happy March Madness.
Oh,
And,
yeah.
You know, for the first time in my lifetime, and man, this really sucks to say, but at least I can say it, I witnessed my TCU Horned Frogs win an NCAA tournament game. So,
It looks good.
There you go.
Hey.
Hey, I had them winning the one game, so I'm glad they did.
yeah, that matchup against Arizona, man. I watched Arizona. They don't look like very unbeatable. I see some areas TCU could exploit, but man, I'm not even trying to like get into the biggest matchup, man. I'm just enjoying the ride.
Oh man. So Michael, for anyone that doesn't know your stance on the whole Baker Mayfield thing, everyone keeps asking about it. What's your take on the Colts maybe getting Baker Mayfield?
Oh man, I would be at this point. Well, I mean, damn man, I really don't know. The NFL during this time of year, it's such a minute-to-minute league, as we obviously saw with Deshaun Watson. If they got him, I would assume it was for like a couple day 3 picks or maybe a conditional third with it. But of course, we've been told that there's no real significant interest from the Colts side of things. Baker's camp and Baker himself are very interested in Indianapolis, but Indianapolis doesn't really share that same sentiment. But
Yeah,
if they were to come around,
I think I don't remember who it was. I think it was Dustin that said that unless the price was like extremely low, then Ballard wouldn't even entertain the possibility of it.
yeah, I think, could they possibly do a little bit more digging and, talk themselves into it? Maybe, but the thought of Baker Mayfield being our quarterback, I wouldn't be mad about it. He is a former Heisman Trophy winner. I'm not trying to bring up too much college stuff because it doesn't matter when you get to the NFL. But he's got talent. All right, he's got talent, but there are some deficiencies in his game. There are some areas that, can he work on? I don't know if you can work on trying to see over the middle of your offensive line, maybe get smaller linemen, but I just, that area of the field, that's where Odell Beckham, that's where Jarvis Landry thrive, going over the middle, and a little bit that's just why they weren't getting the targets that they really needed to. So when you come here to Indianapolis, you need to know where Jonathan Taylor is. You need to know where Naheem Hines, Paris Campbell, Michael Pittman. We know Michael Pittman loves the middle of the field. You got to know where those guys are at all times. So
Right.
I would take him. I'd take him, definitely. I'd definitely take him over Sam Ehlinger. But I just
That's not much of an argument. I mean, we all kind of agree on that one.
I still feel very strongly and passionate about going and getting Matt Ryan, man. I mean,
I think a lot of
everybody's excuse, and I was tweeting about it earlier today. This argument that, he's old, he's declining, it is so lazy, it's so ignorant. Like, okay, he's 36. What are the going rate for older quarterbacks these days? They're performing at a high level. I mean, Peyton Manning at the end of his career performed at a high level, broke records at the age of 39. Breaking records at the age of 39. You didn't hear Denver complaining he was too old. Drew Brees was playing at a high level. Tom Brady's 45 and just led the league with 5,000.
Tom Brady's a different specimen, though. I mean,
Tom Brady.
It's funny because Russell Wilson was saying, I want to spend, the next 10 years of my career with Denver. I want to take this team to multiple championships. I'm like, Russell, you're not making it past 7 years, buddy. You're not. You won't even make it that far, I don't think.
Hey, man, and where is Russell Wilson now? He's made it past 7 years. But my thing is, and now it's not always to make this comparison of Matt Ryan and Tom Brady, no. But where's the difference? Take away the greatness. At their age, they're still performing at a high level.
Right. It's
I'm
just
not trying to do too much.
It's just the perspective of.
And look at Phillip Rivers. Look at Phillip Rivers at 39 years old. Put in a top 4 performance of his career under Frank Reich. And he was a statue. Matt Ryan is not a statue. He moves well. And I just don't understand this notion. Like, I'm not trying to sound like a dick, like I'm not trying to sound like a know-it-all. But people who say he's a statue, he's too old, his arm is getting weaker, it's just so wrong. It's so, I don't know where this narrative is coming from.
Lawrence, I know you wanted to say something. What's your opinion on the Baker Matty Ice thing?
I wouldn't be opposed to Matty Ice. I've said this publicly, right? I've said I wouldn't be opposed to Matty Ice. I mean, the good thing about if the Colts traded for him, and I'm hoping again this would be a day 3 pick trade,
Oh.
because of the age and everything. But this year the Colts would only owe him $23.75 million, and next year $28 million, and that's not even guaranteed. That's not the $28 million that the Colts would owe him next year would not be a guarantee. So I mean,
Yeah,
the Colts,
Atlanta already paid all their guaranteed money.
so that's not a bad situation, So even if it didn't work, the Colts could move on from him next year if it didn't work this year, right?
Mhm.
I do want to push back a little bit about Baker though, and I'm going to say this: just you say he's so short. He's 6'1". All right, he's 3 inches taller than Russell Wilson, right? 4 inches taller than Kyler Murray. I get that. I get that. He's not 6'5", 6'4", but he's not that short, right? And
it could be his awareness in the middle of the field. That also could be the argument. It could be.
The thing I like about Baker is he's only been in the league 4 years. His only 2 bad seasons was when his offensive line was banged up and when he was hurt. He had a really impressive rookie year for a rookie, and then and then his 2020 season was lights out, like very good. Yes. So he's had reasons why he didn't play well. The biggest thing that I worry about with Baker Mayfield is the one thing that worries me about Baker the most is that when he does get under pressure, he does panic a little bit at times. That's what I worry about Baker. But other than that, I like the upside that Baker brings. The fact that he'll be under $19 million this year, and if he doesn't play well, the Colts can move on. No big deal. And if he does play well, then the Colts can extend him. And he's young enough to where he could be if he works out. Because every quarterback that Frank Reich has worked with has been better the first year that he got his hands on him. Even Andrew Luck, right? Mm-hmm. So that's one thing that I really like about Baker, the prospect of Baker. Matty Ice, like I said, I wouldn't be opposed to it. Not now that I've looked at the contract situation and realized he wouldn't be that much. I don't want Mariota. God, please don't give me Mariota. He is one elbow injury away from retirement. Okay, that's the thing. All right. The problem he has with his elbow is a nerve issue which cannot be fixed. Right. Every time he lands on that thing, he can't feel his arm and hands for weeks at a time. Okay, so that's a bad situation. I don't want to spend a high-end draft pick this year. I don't want to spend a second or a third round draft pick on a quarterback because I feel like the Colts need to use those draft picks elsewhere. And no one in this draft, in my opinion, is a long-term franchise guy, right? Anyone, in my opinion, anyone you pick up, you're going to try to upgrade from later on.
Okay. Even
Riddle.
I mean, yeah, there's a couple of guys that I think could be, but you're right. When it comes to like the top end of the class, it's definitely a lot less certain.
Yeah, you don't see any of these guys really being top 10 quarterbacks, do you? For real?
At least not right now. No, not
that's what
right
I'm saying. That's what I'm saying. Right. Whereas next year, there's a lot better draft prospects.
There's 2 or 3 guys next season.
This is something to build off your point, Lawrence. I think you said a lot of the things that I'm kind of thinking in terms of Baker is like he'd be playing on his 5th-year deal, right? 5th-year option. Mm-hmm. So he's going to be cheaper than Matt Ryan at this point. And also, you don't have to, commit to him double-digit years like we would potentially with Matt Ryan. And also, I think he's mid-20s, so like he's still 26. Got a lot of upside. And also, if you trade like a 3rd or 4th round pick, all right, you're not screwed if he's terrible, and then you can go up and draft your quarterback next year. So it makes a lot of sense from that standpoint for me.
Lawrence, I do want to get your opinion on just everything, and we'll get back to Michael here in a second as well.
Yeah, I have to go leave and pick up my daughter from work. She just called me, so
Okay.
I told her give me a minute.
I'll get you one more. I'll get you one more point here, and then you can head on out.
It's all good.
So, free agency. I know it's only been the first week. Tensions have obviously been really high amongst everyone. I mean, let's be honest here. I know that everyone has got their opinion on whether or not Ballard is doing what is necessary to make this team better. We know that he's made one good move, which has gotten Yannick Ngakoue over here. That's a good move. But the problem is that that's really the only move you have made, while everybody else in your division, let alone in your conference, in your division, everyone else is making moves to get better right now. And you're not doing that, at least not on the surface of what it is right now. I understand there's 3 more weeks of free agency before the draft, and other things can happen. We don't know what's going on behind the scenes very much, but what has your take been, just given everything we've seen this week? What's your take on like what is going on in free agency with the Colts right now?
Well, obviously, not having a quarterback is setting the Colts back right now in free agency. That sucks. That completely halts all offensive moves. Without a quarterback, you don't know who to go get to complement your quarterback. You know, when it comes to wide receivers, tight ends, stuff like that. So that's the reason why we ain't made any moves on the offensive side, and that's one of the reasons why I don't like waiting to grab a quarterback. So yeah. But to put it in perspective, this is already the second best free agency that Chris Ballard has had in his 5-year tenure as a Colt.
Yeah,
name a free agency.
Isn't that sad?
Besides the trade for Buckner, which is number 1.
And going and getting Phillip Rivers.
Yeah. On those same year.
Yeah.
This is the second best because of trading for Yannick.
Yep.
His second best.
Yep, that's
period.
it.
I'm just putting it in perspective, guys.
So
I mean,
sad.
it's
sad. It's sad. It truly is. I mean, look, honestly, I know everyone says, oh, you can't overspend. Oh, you can't do this. You can't do that. But the problem is when every other team is overspending for these great free agents and they all have way less cap than you do, and yet you're not able to do anything to make those moves. I know, again, the quarterback, I get it. I get that. But again, the money talks for a lot of these guys. And look, and Ballard, knowing the situation that you put yourself in, you have to adapt your strategy to know, hey, I don't have a quarterback. I've got to do something different to be able to attract these free agents to come here. And that means spending a little extra money. Doesn't mean you like doing it, but other teams are doing it and they're working out just fine.
Are they though? Because you wait a couple years. Right?
I know. But the thing is just like in 5 years, maybe all these teams have no cap, and then the Colts are sitting large with all this extra moolah, and then they go and get every single player in the history of the NFL at that point, and then they just build the ultimate super team ever. But that's taking a chance. And especially when Irsay says, we're building this team to try to get a Super Bowl within the next 10 years. Well, for the next 5, you've set yourself back completely.
There's still a few guys out there in free agency on the offensive side that the Colts could go get that would definitely be beneficial to the team. But I will say, how did overspending and putting yourself in a team cap hit a couple years later and a bad cap hit help the Saints or Green Bay?
Oh yeah, they went way too crazy.
I'm looking at teams like right now, like Denver, like the Raiders, like Buffalo. What in the world is Buffalo thinking? Okay, I'm just saying. I get it. It's only basically a 3-year guarantee for Von Miller, but it's still what? You know,
Yeah.
6
years.
That was a big contract. But again, yeah, they said it's like really only a 2 or 3 year deal.
It's basically a 3-year deal, but
Yeah.
he's still getting $60 million in that 3 years guaranteed.
Yeah, I know. He's
I
a
mean,
good
come on.
end, but I didn't think he was worth $20 million a year.
No, what the Raiders did, that was smart. They got
Yes.
him for $15 million a year for 3 years. Heck yeah, that was gorgeous. I wish Ballard would have done it. But you know what? I wanted Yannick last year. I didn't think we had a chance for Yannick this year. He's cheaper than he's younger and cheaper, and basically a very similar style player, to Chandler Jones. So I'm good with the trade. Ballard, I think that was a really good trade. It was a good trade for both teams, but it was incredibly good for the Indianapolis Colts. We still need, in my opinion, another corner as depth.
Yes.
Or as a starter, either way.
You need a number one corner at this point.
Yeah, at this point, because Rock was the number one.
He upgraded one position of need, but in the process of doing so, now created another need.
Yeah.
But to be fair, that defensive line of Yannick, DeForest, Grover, and Pay, not to mention the rotational guys, is going to make the lives of those cornerbacks covering a lot easier.
Yeah, I like that point. You'd much rather have a fierce pass rush than a great corner.
Yeah, absolutely.
But yeah, the whole thing that's holding up, and you can't blame Ballard for the lack of offensive free agency, because there's no way he can go out and get anyone else because he doesn't have a quarterback. But he hasn't gotten a quarterback. Mm-hmm. But at the same time, he don't want to settle for a Jimmy G. I get that. I don't want to settle for Jimmy G. Jimmy G's not a guy that I see starting for us in 2023. I really don't, because he's so limited in his game. We talk about limitations of players and quarterbacks. Jimmy G's got some serious limitations that cannot be overcome.
I'm glad somebody understands it. The national media doesn't.
Well, a lot of national media will. Former NFL players will be all about, supporting Jimmy G, but they'll admit that he's got limitations. I mean, it is what it is. But no, we got to get this. We have to get this quarterback situation figured out quickly, so that we can move on with the offensive side at minimum. Because yes, we have draft. We don't have a first round pick. We got a couple extra day 2 and day 3 picks, but I mean, we still need a left tackle. We still need another, in my opinion, wide receiver, because we don't have a wide receiver opposite Michael Pittman Jr. who is reliable. Right? Mm-hmm. You need a reliable second receiver. And then we talked about the depth at corner, or a starter. So you can only fill so many spots in the draft. You need to go out and do this. And the easiest way of doing it right now is offensively, because there's still some really good offensive players, even at left tackle and at wide receiver, available. You just got to get this quarterback thing situated quickly.
Yeah, that's on Ballard, man. They chose to not bring Wentz back, and ironically enough, that's killing us right now. That not having Wentz, even having Wentz there right now, would have been so much better and so much easier. At least then you would have said, "Oh yeah, we at least have a quarterback that's going to throw you the football."
I will say this until the end of days. I was completely shocked that Ballard traded Wentz without having his backup option already in the building or set to become, a Colt. That completely shocked me, and I think it was one of the dumbest moves I've seen from Ballard so far.
Yeah, I think one thing, Lawrence, one thing that I just was super frustrated with was like last offseason when you had a quarterback, you had Wentz, and you thought he was your guy, but you didn't go out and get another guy. Why didn't you? It was loaded with wide receivers last offseason, and you chose to just do nothing. You thought that position was fine. And so, like, if you would have been not as frugal last year in free agency, which in my opinion, it was a terrible offseason in terms of that, would we even be like talking about this right now? if you would have actually gone out and invested a little bit more instead of, relying on Zach Pascal and Ashton Doolin and those guys, going and getting a guy that for a little bit more, yes, but you had the cap space to do so.
Yeah, the thing is, and this is a major problem, in my opinion. Ballard straight up said he thinks that we have a really good wide receiving room. He said that right after the season ended. You remember the presser where he said that? He said that. He said that he thinks that this wide receiver room is very, very good. They just had problems with injuries and COVID and blah, blah, blah. They weren't able to, perform to what they expected, but they fully expect, them to take a step up this year. Yeah, he may be right, but you can't freaking depend on that.
He's been saying the same
Well,
thing.
let's be fair right here, because at the combine, he retracted those statements. He said that it needs to get better. He needs to add competition to the room, especially when he was highlighting Paris Campbell and his unavailability, which has been just super unlucky, man. Yeah. I do want to say that he did push back a little bit on his own comments.
A little bit.
Yeah, you're right, Mike.
You're right. He did push back on it, but I mean, at the same time, again, I go back to the argument again of making it to where, again, if you don't have a quarterback, again, you can convince some guys to come to you if you tell them, listen, I have a plan in place, but that also includes I'll pay you a little extra if that means you will come here and help transform whatever guy I bring in here. I mean, you have to sometimes do that, especially when you don't have that quarterback position in play, because sometimes that's what you have to do. And I mean, look, unfortunately, we're in this situation now where, I agree with you, Lawrence. It seems like almost every other quarterback situation, like before they're trading away their guys, they're getting someone else in the building. And I see everyone saying, well, that was an Irsay thing. That wasn't Ballard that wanted to get rid of Wentz at that time. That was Irsay telling Ballard to get Wentz out of the building. Yes, but that doesn't mean you still can't contact some of these guys and say, hey, I'm getting rid of Wentz. Can you come here and be my next quarterback? Right? Like, and listen, the funny thing is, like, if the Colts did have the game plan of saying they're going to go in the draft in the next year or two and rely on that guy to be our franchise guy, I would have figured they would have just signed somebody in free agency by now, because then you would have just said, oh, well, this guy's going to be a stopgap. He's not going to be our future, but we're going to pay somebody to come in. We don't have to give up draft compensation, and we can keep that guy for just the immediate future. But the fact that we're trying to trade for somebody makes me think that Ballard is not really looking at the draft.
You're dead on. You're dead on, because if he liked someone in the draft, he would have signed a Mariota or a Winston or something like that to be a guy, as a stopgap while, training up the next guy. That's just flat. He would have, if he thought that there was somebody there that he liked that he'd be able to get a hold of.
Right.
Right.
Yeah, you're right. And I don't know why I just now thought of that, but I did. So yeah, absolutely. Now I'm thinking if it's Baker or Matty Ice, I mean, it might be the quarterback of the immediate future.
I got to go, guys. I got to pick up my daughter, but I appreciate you having me for a moment, man. Nice talking to each of you. Have a good one.
Yep.
Smash the like, guys.
See you later, man.
All right, I got you. Michael, I haven't actually had the chance to talk with you yet about free agency and what you've thought of everything going on, man. You got to tell me what your thoughts been on Irsay and Ballard and Reich and all these guys really not doing anything to add anyone, at least as of this moment.
Yeah, man. I mean, I sat back and I listened to everything that y'all were saying. And the biggest thing about it, and Lawrence had mentioned it, you're not going to convince anyone to come here when there's no quarterback. You're just not. And I know there's this, and you are right, Derek, money does talk. But at the same time, these free agents here things that we don't about the Colts. These free agents, like OJ Howard, for instance, 1 year, $3 million, right? Ballard could have easily done more than that, right? More guaranteed money and everything. But
yeah,
what would you rather do on a 1 year contract with a chance to make more money next year? Do you want to go with Buffalo, where you're guaranteed to have more looks, or go to Indianapolis and not know what the hell is going on? Like
Yeah,
at the
it's
end of the
true.
day, OJ Howard has to think about OJ Howard, not what Chris Ballard told him if he can help Sam Ehlinger or Marcus Mariota. At the end of the day, OJ Howard don't give a damn about Marcus Mariota. Mariota is not going to pay for OJ Howard's mortgage. He's not going to pay for OJ Howard's kids or anything like that. OJ Howard is responsible for OJ Howard's life. Juju Smith-Schuster is a guy that I know the Colts were trying to get. But guess what? No quarterback. He was also hearing Matt Ryan could come. Hey, pairing back up with Michael Pittman seems attractive. Once that happened, you notice how he went ahead and signed with KC. That's why.
Yeah.
First off, screw Deshaun Watson, because he screwed the Colts' plans big time.
Oh yeah.
He was going to Atlanta.
And then it would have been almost a guaranteed thing that Matt Ryan comes to.
A couple people that I spoke with said that they got a verbal agreement from Deshaun Watson. Okay, so Matt Ryan's coming. Bro, I started typing a whole article about it. And Deshaun Watson chooses Cleveland. Now you lose out on the free agents you were talking to. Your locker room gets even more frustrated, and you're still left without a quarterback. Some of this stuff, and it is Frank Reich and Chris Ballard have to take this on the chin. They traded for Carson Wentz. They thought they could fix Carson Wentz. They failed on it. It was the worst mistake of Ballard's tenure, probably of his career. Okay, move on. It's hard because you gave up a first-round pick. You gave up a third-round pick. But at the end of the day, what Lawrence was alluding to earlier, why would Ballard go get a security blanket? You paid a first-rounder and a third-rounder. You paying a first and a third thinking that guy is your guy. You don't need insurance unless you want to go get just a regular backup instead of what Lawrence was alluding to, a guy that would step in if things don't work out.
Mm-hmm.
It's so much easier said than done. It's so much easier, guys. There was a defensive player that was willing to come here. No, it wasn't Casey Hayward, but he wants to know he has an offense to back him up. He didn't come here. There was a couple of wide receivers that wanted to come. Don't know what's going on with the quarterback situation. Okay, so it's out of Ballard's control. I would rather him pull back the money rather than pay Christian Kirk more than Devontae Adams.
Right.
I would just rather that more. And that's the Jags, okay? The Jags are going to be the Jags. I'll let them keep making those contracts, please, because you're going to regret it. Landon Collins is a guy this franchise killed Ballard for not signing, but he just got released from Washington because he's not worth that contract. So where they are now, they're still talking to a couple of guys, but free agents just are hardly listening because there is no clear path to a quarterback. Regardless of what we want to think, guys are not after coming off contract years, they are not putting their careers in the hands of Marcus Mariota. They're just not going to do it. They're not. Guys were on board to play with Matty Ice. We all know why. He's great. He's good. He's talented. But if I was Ballard, and this is where I'm at now, do I really want to tell my locker room we're going to roll out the red carpet for Marcus Mariota? We're going to roll out the red carpet for Ryan Fitzpatrick, only because we didn't have to give up assets. What does it take to get a quarterback these days? You have to pay a price for something. The Cincinnati Bengals sucked for decades. That's a price they had to pay. They got the number 1 overall pick. The San Francisco 49ers had all these injuries and they had a bad season, but they still traded up. Guess what? That cost them a season, of guys as prime and future first-round picks, and they got Trey Lance. You have to pay a premium for something good. Go get Matty Ice. I don't give a damn if it costs 2 third-round picks or a third and a conditional third. Go get your quarterback and tell your freaking great roster, I'm trying to maximize your talent. That's my thing. I don't give a damn about assets, about draft picks. Get over it. Get over it. Draft picks don't matter. When you're trying to compete, when you're trying to tell your guys, we see everybody in the AFC getting better. You know what? We're going to join that fight. That's going to fire up DeForest Buckner, Darius Leonard, Michael Pittman Jr., Quentin Nelson, and Ryan Kelly before they come to you and demand a trade.
Right.
That's what's going to do for them. So at this point, go all out for Matty Ice, man. He's not too old. He doesn't cost too much. Go get him.
And you can restructure his contract too. I would imagine that they would probably try to do that. I mean, that kind of emphasized my point that I made earlier where I said that, like in the NFL, man, even if it's even if those assets are other players on your team, I mean, unfortunately, that's what you have to do to get the quarterback of the future for your team. Sometimes it doesn't take just draft picks. Sometimes it takes trading players to go along with it. That's not what you want to do sometimes, but that sometimes is the route that you have to take in order to be able to get the guy that's going to allow you to help build your roster the way you want it.
Mm-hmm.
Hey, Michael,
and I'll
keep asking you about your channel, about a channel for you, man. You want to tell these people where they can find you at?
Do the Blue Stable. I'm part of the Blue Stable myself. Dustin Adams, Rashad McGinnis. We got Marcus from Culture Shock. We got Luke. We got Eric. Good stable. Good group of guys. Trying to do some Colts content. Obviously, trying to keep up with Derek and Cody and the freaking unrelentless crap they're putting out. Man, it's hard. It's hard, but follow everybody that's in this meeting, that's in this place, man. You're not going to miss out on any good content. I guarantee you that.
Absolutely. So, I mean, everybody keeps talking about Baker and everything else. And like when you think about it, do you think that, okay, so say the Colts do what you're saying and go get Matty Ice. Do you look to the 2023 draft and try to go all in and say that you want to try to get one of those top quarterbacks in that draft to learn behind Matt Ryan? And then, when after Matt Ryan has that second year with you, you gave that quarterback a chance to learn under Matt Ryan. You gave him a chance to understand it. You think it could be a potential situation like what we saw with Kansas City and Pat Mahomes, how he stayed under Alex Smith for a year and then took the reins?
I'll say this. I still think you take your quarterback this year. The Colts like the guys in this trade or in this draft. But here's the thing. When people say, oh, if you waste assets on Matt Ryan, you can't go get your guy. Another false statement. Let's say you gave up your own third this year and a future third, all right? And if you're at 42 and you see, or if Desmond Ridder is there, you take him. Guess what? You still got your guy. What about wide receiver? What about left tackle? Well, that's why you brought guys like Matt Pryor back. We'll see what's going on with Chris Reed. You're trying to get guys in. And there's still quality receivers out there in the free agent market. That's why I think if you're going to get a guy, you have to do it now. Because right now, guys, if I'm being honest with you, I feel very confident. If yesterday Deshaun Watson decided on Atlanta, Matt Ryan is a quarterback today, and Juju Smith-Schuster is probably signing here in the next couple of days. I feel pretty confident in saying that. And now your whole situation changes, right? But now that's not the reality. So this idea that if you waste assets on a franchise quarterback is just completely false, because let's say you wanted to trade from 42 up to 31. Let's say, throw a name out there. Let's say Carson Strong or Matt Corral fell to number 31. oh, what picks do you have to trade up? Guess what? You can give that number 42 overall, and then guess what? You can give up next year's 4th. You can give up next year's 2nd. If you are getting a guy that you think that you like enough to learn under Matt Ryan, then the cost should not matter. The cost should not matter, especially when you're getting into the 5th round. You're getting that 5th-year option. First round, I'm sorry. You're getting that 5th-year option. You have to do this because why do you have to do this? Because this is the hand you've dealt yourself. This was nightmare scenario if Carson Wentz did not work out. And guess what? It didn't work out. Now this is the hand that you have to play. This is an offseason where Chris Ballard on the free agent market, I still support it about being patient with free agents. But when it comes to using assets on figuring out some things in terms of draft picks and money, he needs to get aggressive and stop being so patient when it comes to quarterback. That's why I keep pounding the table. Dude, give up 2 3rd-rounders.
Yeah, you got to do something.
Traquan Smith is still out there. Keelan Cole is still out there. Those are 2 receivers right there that automatically booster your wide receiver core. I would really like another tight end because I think you overpaid for Mo Alley-Cox, but he's going to give you some good blocking and strengthen your run game again. So, man, dude, it sucks. The Colts are in a dangerous spot with their locker room.
I got 2 questions for you, and we'll stay on the free agency thing, and then I'll go to the who to blame topic with this. So in free agency, which positions do you think the Colts absolutely must address in free agency versus the draft? So, like, obviously, you need a quarterback. Don't know what we're going to do with that yet. You obviously need weapons, both at tight end and wide receiver. You obviously need a new corner because you obviously traded away Rocky Yassin for that. And you still are, and you need a left tackle as well. So what do the Colts need to do in free agency? What position should they address that at?
I would do wide receiver in free agency. Look to guys like Traquan Smith, like Keelan Cole. There's a couple more out there. Bring back T.Y., Jarvis Landry. Yeah, especially if you get Matt Ryan. He's in play now. Definitely, man. Good slot guy. And wide receiver, I know we all love the wide receiver class in the draft, but boo-hoo, you screwed up with Carson Wentz, and this is your situation now. So, I want to be a billionaire. Doesn't mean I'm going to get what I want today. So, get wide receiver in the free agency. Get you a tight end. All right. There's still a couple of guys out there, guys like Gerald Everett. I don't have the list in front of me right now. What's up?
I think Austin Hooper was cut from the Browns.
He just signed with the Titans
today.
Or yesterday. He signed with the Titans. So he's off the board. So you still got solid guys like Gerald Everett. Not entirely sure if Chris Ballard is open to an Eric Ebron reunion, but this is just where you're at when you screw up on quarterback. So continuing, I think you feel good about Matt Pryor at left tackle because at one of these spots, you're going to have to sacrifice. And I think left tackle is going to be that area. I feel good about Matt Pryor. Do I think he's a better left tackle than he is a right tackle? No, I think he's a better right tackle than he is a left tackle. But he's on a 1-year deal. If he works out, boom, he's on a 1-year deal. Extend him. Bang. Easy money. Left tackle, focus later. Wide receiver, attack, corner, can get Chris Harris. Stuff. But one thing that I will say is pass rushing is going to win you a lot more games than having a good corner is. I'll say that.
True. Yeah, we mentioned that. We mentioned that before. Yeah.
When it comes to quarterback, wide receiver, you have to take care of that in the next week or two.
Yeah, that's right. We still got Stephon Gilmore out there too.
I think Stephon, it just depends on what market's out there, man.
Yeah, he doesn't sound like he wants to come here, but I said that I think he's the only free agent corner that could play the outside corner that I think could start for us right away. I think he's the only one that I would trust to immediately start and be that number one, at least for this year, until you found a different option.
I think, that's what I would do, man. Get Kamoko Toure back in here. I feel really good. We just interviewed him earlier today, by the way.
Oh, yeah.
Had a surprise appearance by Al-Qadim Muhammad, man. He's chill.
Nice.
Yeah, they're training out there in Miami. I feel really good about Tyquan Lewis coming back. Get Kamoko Toure in here because last year you were going to put those two guys in positions that they're not supposed to be playing. You're playing them in Yannick Ngakwe's role. Now that Yannick Ngakwe is here, put them in the backup spots where they're going to flourish. That's what I like. That's called true depth. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Get him in here, shore up that defensive line, man. When it comes to everything else, you're good on linebacker. I don't think you need to take one. Zaire, EJ Speed developed a lot this year, especially that game on Christmas against Arizona. Safety, Kareem Jackson is still out there. I think he's a guy that the Colts are that I know they're targeting. Just depends on what his market is gonna endure. Is somebody out there probably in the AFC West? They're gonna want depth in the secondary. Possibly. Does he want to chase a championship? Possibly. But other than that, man, it's just so hard when you just don't have that direction in the most important position in football.
All right. So I think we'll end the stream with this last thing here. And it was something that we were trying to wrap our heads around. Obviously, we take a look at what's going around in free agency right now. And obviously we're all kind of pissed off that Ballard's not doing enough to make this team better at the moment than what it is. So obviously everyone's calling for his head. And then, we kind of have passed the blame onto him and haven't really given the same energy at times to Frank Reich if he deserves it. At the same time, we've been saying, Ballard's been trying to make this roster better. And then a lot of times it is. And a lot of times, Reich has put us in positions where if he didn't put us in that position to begin with, then we wouldn't be having as much of the conversations we be having. Obviously we start out slow every year. We end really slow sometimes. There's times when you lose games that just make you go, why? Like what we saw last year. Darius Leonard admitted it on Twitter a few days ago that, the team got complacent and that's why we got our asses kicked. That's kind of a little bit on Reich to make sure that these players are not doing that. So obviously he's not quite living up to that expectation. Who do you blame the most for where this team is at right now? For me, it's Ballard just because, Reich has, been dealt the raw end of the stick a lot of times because he's had a quarterback change every single year. So sometimes it's been tough to deal with that. Now, of course, he's not free of any of this, but at the same time, like, who do you blame more for where the team is at right now?
Who do I blame more?
You could also say Irsay. You could say that too because, he was the reason why Wentz is out of town now and why we're in this situation with the quarterback. So,
well, the thing with Irsay, man, the last few years, he hasn't been as hands-on as people want to make it out to be. He's really just sat back and let Chris and Frank work, man. That's why I think Indianapolis has been such a good place to work for guys like Morocco Brown, Ed Dodds, guys who are getting general manager interviews. He just sat back. But this year, when this pathetic season ended the way it did, he got involved. And Chris Ballard or Jim Irsay did not run Carson Wentz out of town. Carson Wentz ran himself out of town.
Mm-hmm.
Chris Ballard and Frank Reich just held him accountable for it. So who do I blame for where this team is at? I blame everybody, man. I blame everybody. There isn't one person that you can point out. because Chris Ballard, you executed the trade for Carson Wentz. There were other guys out there, were you not as fond of Matthew Stafford, which has been rumored? Okay, why not? Are you just not good at evaluating a quarterback? Who knows? Frank Reich. I even said it at the end of his end of year press conference, man. The way he sounded, he just sounded like, and if y'all want to quote me on it, go back to that episode. I said it. He just looks like he's done everything he possibly could with Wentz, and Wentz just didn't listen. That's the vibe I got from him. And now it's all being put out there that was certainly the case. But again, you're the head coach at the time. In the high school, college, you could probably get a pass. But in the NFL, man, you got to get it done. Darius Leonard, I can blame him. Why the hell are you jumping up to bat a pass down when the quarterback is sitting right there? Just sack his ass. Just sack him, tackle him. Why are you jumping up? Now he pump faked you, found Hunter Renfrow, and won the game. A sack right there sends this game to overtime. You didn't do it. DeForest Buckner didn't do enough. Kenny Moore didn't do enough. Rocky Sin didn't do enough. Michael Pittman, you choked in the Tampa Bay game. You didn't show up big time in Buffalo. You didn't show up in other games. Blame goes on him. Quentin Nelson, he made the All-Pro, but this year was not up to his standards. Okay, he gets blamed. Ryan Kelly, he gets blamed until after the tragedy that struck him. After when he came back, I disqualify that from his evaluation. I don't expect anybody to play good through any of that. So, but still, even before that, he was struggling. Braden Smith struggled this year. T.Y. Hilton struggled this year. Zach Pascal struggled this year. Carson Wentz struggled. Everybody is to blame for this because they did not play winning football. I get it because, take it from me. I hated Matt Eberflus. I hated Brian Baker. But at the end of the day, the players could still act like they gave a damn in the last 2 weeks. They could still do that, and they didn't. So
and you can put more of that blame on Darius too because he's the quote unquote leader of that team, right? He's the vocal
leader.
And he mentioned it on Hard Knocks after the Raiders loss, right? That said, we did not practice the way that we should be practicing, right? He said it to the whole team, like, this is not how this is supposed to go. Like, and he should have said, I'm gonna hold all y'all accountable. This is not how Indianapolis practices. This is not how we play. This is not up to our standards, and shit's going to get done about it, or else things are not going to go well for any of us. Like, something should have been done to make that room feel better. And then even after a bad performance against the Raiders, had one of the most epic meltdowns in team history against that Jacksonville team that we saw in the last week. And like, that's a blame on everyone because no one was ready for that.
That is easily the worst loss of this franchise's history. Easily. How many points were you even favored by? Like 17
and a half. And they covered that spread against us the opposite way.
Yeah, they covered it.
It was a 30 and a half point spread difference.
Disgusting.
Trevor Lawrence was sacked in the NFL. He was the worst starter in the NFL, but all of those things kicked the Colts' butt that day. Trevor Lawrence, what was he, like 15 of 15 at one time? Like,
yeah, he was like 11 of 12. His first 12 passes, he had like 11 completions. It was
easily. So, especially, this is why I think having a guy like Matt Ryan, that's not going to do that. Matt Ryan is going to command that locker room. He is going to command that huddle. He is going to command the film room, the offensive meetings. He is going to hold everyone accountable because, quite frankly, Carson Wentz didn't do that. And that's the quarterback's job. He didn't do that. That's why I think maximizing this roster is the best way to do that with Matt Ryan going forward. If we get Marcus Mariota, Jameis Winston's going back to New Orleans. If we get Marcus Mariota, man, dude, I'm doing draft work the next year and a half. That's what I'm doing. But the Colts only have themselves to blame, man. There isn't no outside. It's not Jim Irsay. He literally got involved this year. The last few years, And we've even been told this at the Blue Stable. He sat back the last few years and let these guys work.
Mhm.
You know, he gets involved on draft day and training camp and stuff like that, but the rest, he's doing other stuff, and his daughters are really the ones around the building more than he is.
Yeah.
So at the end of the day, man, the Colts they can only blame themselves, and I don't want to see any finger pointing from this roster at all, because I can pull up bad film from every single starter, all 22 guys, the last 2 weeks when everything was on the money.
Yep. Absolutely. Totally agree with you. All right. Well, I think that's going to do it for this stream, guys. Been going for a little over 3 hours. Want to thank Matt and JDW for being here the whole dang time. Appreciate y'all for being in here.
It was a lot of fun.
And Michael, thank you again, man, for hopping in at the last second. I know that we didn't give you a ton of time to talk there, but I appreciate you coming in and giving us a little bit more insight on some stuff that's been going on.
Yeah, he really sold me on Matt Ryan. I'm all for Matt Ryan though.
It's what I've gotten from all the Blue Stable guys. It's Matt Ryan or it's almost nothing at this point.
Yeah. Because Baker,
I will say,
because Baker's just like Wentz in a lot of ways. In the media, he's a media diva. He's so worried about the media. He struggles to make the routine throws consistently. Accuracy is an issue. Yeah.
You just don't have a ton of those issues when it comes to Matt Ryan. Matt Ryan's a little more consistent, and he's a lot more.
You know what you're getting.
You know what you're getting with him. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I know we're ending it here, but when I watched Matt Ryan, I didn't watch Matt Ryan at all this season. In real time, I'll be honest, and I've even said it on Twitter, I didn't watch any of them. But a month ago, and this is crazy because I don't want to be the one that said, "Oh, I told you so," but in Colts fan base, I'm the one that sparked this whole entire Matt Ryan conversation, because I just thought of possible quarterbacks. Matt Ryan came to mind, turned on 3 games. I liked what I saw where Atlanta is. They suck. They're not going anywhere. What do they need Matt Ryan for? I brought Matt Ryan up in our group chat on Twitter. Everyone killed me for it. Now, all of a sudden, everybody's crying for Matt Ryan.
Right.
Dude, come on now.
That's how it is, man.
I made a video about Matt Ryan around the same time. I got attacked. What are you talking about? I was like,
I don't know.
Matt Ryan was great.
Colts fans will just attack you for anything.
Yeah.
They'll attack you.
I got told to delete my channel, I think.
When I watch Matt Ryan, I don't see any weaknesses. Now, he's not a top 5 quarterback, but if he's under Frank Reich and has Michael Pittman, Traquan Smith, Keelan Cole, for example, I think he plays as a top 10 quarterback. I definitely do. The dude is
I think he can execute Reich's game plan a lot easier than someone else, because Matt Ryan is much smarter with how he conducts it, and he's been in the league for so damn long. He's been under some great offensive minds. I think Frank Reich would just be another one of those that Matt Ryan could execute really well.
I do know that the Colts are still in touch with Atlanta, but the price has gone up a little bit. That bridge is burned, man. I would be utterly shocked if Matt Ryan is in Atlanta next year, because they weren't upfront with Matt about it. They didn't communicate with him all the way. I do know Indy is still talking to Atlanta. I would just love to see it get executed, because when you do that, now things are in motion. You easily have the best quarterback in the AFC South now. And regardless of what we want to say about how tough this AFC is, you win your division, you get a home playoff game. And get in the playoffs, anything can happen, man. That's really all I got to say. I know you want to end it right here, but I'm still Matt Ryan. Get him in here. I don't give a damn if it costs you a third and a conditional third. I don't care. If you win the Super Bowl next year, you're not going to give a damn about those picks.
Yeah, well, we'll definitely have to see some more moves happen. But yeah, I mean, obviously, I'm keeping an eye on all the Blue Stable guys over there, because I said it earlier that unless Schefter or someone else reports that stuff, I'm not believing any word that anyone says about this Colts quarterback situation unless it's coming from them at this point, because y'all have been literally the only ones that haven't changed your stance on where things are at. All the national media guys have been. They've been covering every asset of it, and it doesn't sound real at all. because things just aren't adding up the way they say it versus the way Blue Stable has said it. So again, thank you to all the content creators that joined me tonight. It was a great stream. And then also make sure you guys go subscribe to Inside the Horseshoe Podcast, JDW Sports Talk Show, and the Blue Stable as well. Make sure you guys go check them out. Thank you guys again so much for the continued support. Greatly appreciate it. And as always, go Colts.
Go Colts.
Go Colts.